You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
All right, so here's what the Jaguars have now. They still have a bunch of picks in the top 4 rounds. That part hasn't changed. They don't have a second rounder, though. So a long day, perhaps, waiting around for that third round pick number 70 and 88, or do they move up again? They do go from 126 to 104 because of this big trade. And then, of course, you see what's left, 5th, 6th, 7th round. They still have 9 picks. And keep in mind what Tony Baselli told us yesterday, which we kind of knew, but you're going to get 20 undrafted free agents. The work is not done for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they did some work last night. How are we feeling, Jacksonville? Good morning. What a beautiful day to be a Jags fan, Hamby's Burner says. Hey, this is fun. Listen, I don't know if you win Super Bowls by winning draft night, but you know what? In our world, winning draft night feels good. Let's just take it one day at a time, and it looks like the Jags won draft night. They got a star, we think. They made a bold move. They've got a star with their GM, it appears right now. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane. You made it to Oregon.
Made it to Oregon, much to the lack of the airlines last night that made it a little harder on us. But hey, that's sometimes the way it goes traveling. We're supposed to get into Eugene, Oregon at 9 o'clock last night. We got in at 2 a.m. So got a little delayed, but all good. Played a lot of football in the airport. So we're running routes in the airport and everything, which was pretty cool. It was so fun. And obviously, you know, even though we got a little delayed, I got to watch pretty much the entirety of the draft.
Yeah, I did not. I couldn't. I did not watch the draft. Like, it's crazy to sit here and tell you this, but I didn't watch the draft. We were on the entire time, so like I really did not. But by the way, tell folks you're in Oregon. How was Ronan surprised? You guys are going to the spring game today.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we're going to the spring game tomorrow. We're going to the baseball game today. But I'll send you the video because I actually made a little video when I told him, and he was super excited. So I'll pass that along to Hamby during the break here, and I'll send you the video of him when I kind of surprised him that we're going to Oregon. But yeah, nevertheless, man, even though it was a long day of traveling, a lot of excitement around what the Jaguars did last night.
Yeah, let's listen, I talked for hours and hours. I'm tired of hearing myself talk about this, honestly, and I think there's a lot to digest here. There's a lot to say, but just your thoughts. I mean, we talked about Travis Hunter for a long time in this process. We didn't know if it was realistic. It really started to get hot yesterday afternoon, and they made it happen. So what are your overall thoughts on how he can impact the Jags, what the Jaguars did, and what they gave up?
Yeah, so first of all, my overall thoughts is I was shocked. You know, like there was rumblings kind of early on in the day and everything like that, but I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. And I heard rumblings from a bunch of people saying that, oh no, it's going to happen. And I just, to me, once again, this is like, give the Jaguars all the credit here. Give James Gladstone the credit. I guess I'm more surprised that the Cleveland Browns were able to make that trade, because you talk about a team in Cleveland who, you know, I feel like they need a little juice. They need a little hype. And I thought Travis Hunter could have provided that. So that's why, even though I was hearing a lot of things, I didn't think the trade was going to happen. I thought Cleveland was going to covet him. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're watching the draft and, you know, you hear the Jaguars make the trade. And I mean, obviously you knew who it was going to be right away. They weren't going after Ted McMillan or anything. So once it was official and the Jaguars were on the clock, man, I was elated. You know, I was excited because of a couple reasons, obviously. Number one, this is a guy who's going to give you something on offense and defense, right? This is a guy who, in terms of jersey sales, in terms of relevancy of being talked about in the media, in relevancy of creating new fans, he's going to do that as well. Now, like, let's be honest, that's not going to win you football games, right? Like, I'm sure Mark Lamping right now is over the moon from the business aspect of it, right? But I also think there's something to be said of when you bring a new guy in with all this intrigue, with all this swagger, that can be contagious on the team too as well. You know, like that can almost give you like a new sense of confidence as a team. And keep in mind, we're talking about a new GM. We're talking about a new head coach. So I just feel like everything's going to be contagious, man. And I think it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, I think that was a great point. So, like, I didn't even think about that part of it, the excitement, the contagion that we feel in the city. I think you're going to feel. I think you feel in the building. We felt it in the building yesterday, and I think the players will feel that. We've got a bunch of sound, including from a lot of stuff. Last night we had Brian Thomas Jr. at the draft party, and we asked him about Travis Hunter, and he's playing the political game. But then we pressed him out a little bit more. I mean, the reality is, like, Brian Thomas Jr. has to be fired up for this. Trevor Lawrence is fired up for this. So the players are fired up for this. I always say this about players. And Austin, if you get off the screen, it might be because your shot's a little fuzzy, but we can hear your audio. So you're good. No, you're good. Just don't freak out if you get off the screen. We can still hear you fine. I'm trying to get Hamby to do it, but there he goes.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. I always say this. Players know what good looks like. We can think we know what good looks like. People, like, you've been around it, Austin. You know when you see a good player, when you're at practice and you're like, wow, that dude does some stuff different, right? We all know that. Whether we play high school ball or whatever kind of ball, hey, that dude's pretty good. Like, he might be better than me. He's more gifted than me. He's whatever. Like, we know that. We see that. And I really feel like this guy is that. Like, I think he makes people go, wow, right? I mean, if you hear other analysts that used to play the game talk about him, from Jeff Lageman to I saw something with Warren Sapp and other guys, they wow over this guy. And that doesn't make you a Hall of Famer or a great player in the NFL, but it does showcase that, wow, you got something different. Liam Cohen said this yesterday about Brian Thomas Jr. We'll get to that a little bbit later. It's like, hey, we got Brian Thomas Jr. on the grass the last couple of days, and he was like, whoa. I think we have that. We'll play it a little bit later on, but it's just like, even the coach who had seen him on tape, who knows him and has raved about him and is like, hey, this offense got to run through Brian Thomas Jr., is like, whoa, seeing that in live action, that's pretty cool, right? So yeah. I like that. I like when players acknowledge this dude is different. And I think you're right about that swag. I mean, he will bring that. One other element of this, I didn't think I'd get into it so early, but I think he eases some of the pressure and eyeballs and weight on the shoulders of players like Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr. now, Josh Hines-Allen, and Trayvon Walker. These guys have had to shoulder the load of a lot, Austin, right? And I think this guy coming in is like, hey, I got some of this. I'm cool with that. Like, I've been dealing with this all my life too. So I'll take some of that and spread it out. And now maybe it's not all on Trevor, the attention and the headlines. And now it's going to be because it's a quarterback making $275. But you know what I mean? There's a domino effect there where now that you have a handful of guys that can get this kind of attention. And really for the next year, next couple months, the smile, the electricity, the curiosity, the play of Travis Hunter is going to steal a lot of the spotlight. And I think that's a comfortable spot for these other guys to just say, hey, cool, you get some of that. We'll share it. And we can just go to work.
No, absolutely. Right. Because once again, like, we've never really seen a guy like this before. Like, we've seen glimpses. You had Charles Woodson back in the day. You've had a couple of guys that, like, can play both sides of the ball. I mean, Jabril Peppers from back in the day, but, like, nothing like this. Right. Like, this is one of one. And yes, we should all be excited for it. Yes, he's going to take some of the weight off some of the other, stars on this team's shoulders. The biggest thing, though, and once again, like, I'm excited, make no mistake about it. But now we got to talk about what is this going to look like? Because it's not so for instance, last night when I was watching this draft live and you got Travis Hunter, I wasn't thinking like, oh man, like, there it is. We just got our Calvin Johnson. Oh man, we just got our Julio Jones. And on the other side of the ball, I wasn't thinking like, oh man, okay, yep, here comes Sauce Gardner, here comes Deion Sanders, whatever you want to say. Like, it's got to be a combination of how you use him. And this will be the biggest question, Brent, right? Like, yes, you got the freak athlete, you got the specimen, you got the most productive guy in the draft. But that's not going to mean anything if you don't use him accordingly and you don't use him to the best of his potential. And let's be honest, like that, I mean, everyone's got opinions about it, but we don't have the answer. I'm sure the Jaguars at least have an idea, but until we see it on the field, until we see it come to fruition, that's going to be the biggest question going forward now.
Yeah, and listen, I think what I like about this is twofold. We got to, Abby, let's get to some of this sound. Okay, we got a lot of it, and there's a couple things. Do we have the Cohen from the owners' meetings, Hamby?
Yeah, the quick one where you asked about BTJ? Yeah.
I just want to go back to where that started, because, again, I found it kind of interesting that through this draft process, when these guys talked, I don't think anybody else really asked him about Travis Hunter. And that's not like a, hey, nice job, Brent. I'm just saying, I thought even during the pre-draft process and other times that Cohen was talking, like even at the owners' meetings when he got around the scrum, people would ask about him. And I just thought it was a pretty cool answer from Cohen, even though at the time we kind of wondered, like, all right, are they going to get him? And so we'll play that in just a moment. But also we have coming up in just a bit the James Gladstone one-on-one. I got a chance to catch up with him. And listen, I don't know if there's anything super revealing from the one-on-one, because he says a lot of the same things in all the interview settings, which is fine. But we'll share that because we haven't played that yet for you. And what I'm getting at here, Austen, is the fact that I think they already do have a plan, and they're already at least saying in front of a microphone, we're going to lean him on the offensive side first. Yes, he's going to play both ways. So they acknowledge, hey, he's going to play both. He wants to play both. We are going to onboard him specifically on the offensive side. That's how we see this first. That's why we went up and got him, because we see him as wide receiver first. And then what kind of packages do you put him in on the defensive side? So I already like, and you know us, we have scar tissue about this at times, right? Of how they use a guy that has so many different skill sets. But I like that they're transparent, already have a plan, already are talking about that plan. And I'm sure that will evolve. But they do have a plan for him, and they're already telling us, hey, look on the offensive side of the ball first, but he will play defense too. Not just like we'll see if he'll play defense, he will play defense too.
No, I mean, listen, you've been, looking at this guy probably since February, March, of trying to make a play to Cleveland. So, of course, you're going to have a plan in place. My biggest thing is it going to be the right plan? Is the game flow going to dictate that, this is what's best for him? And yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit of some of the interviews saying it's going to be an offense first, and then you're going to sub him in on defensive packages. And you know how I feel about it. I would rather put him on defense full time and then sub him in an offense. But I get the whole draw of, well, you got to help Liam Cohen. You got to help Trevor Lawrence out. My only point is that there's a reason sometimes that when a cornerback gets injured and a new guy comes in, that NFL offenses will then pick on that guy 2-3 plays in a row and go to that wide receiver with a new cornerback, because it is about game flow. It is about finding your footing. Now, maybe Travis Hunter doesn't need that. Maybe Travis Hunter can come right off the bench, take out the best wide receiver and say, I got him. He ain't going nowhere. Maybe. But until we see it for ourselves, I would feel more comfortable with playing him on defense, and then obviously playing him a lot on offense as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think it's where is he going to be? I looked at him as a wide receiver all along, and this is what I said all along. It's like, how can you couple him with Brian Thomas Jr.? And I think there's a hole at the number 2 wide receiver spot. Tony Baselli. Yami Brown. That was kind of fun. But
to be fair, I think that Dwami Brown's going to be more like the gadget guy anyways. Like, yeah, he knew a lot of different. So yeah, but
I'm not telling you that Baselli was lying, by the way. They really like him, but it wasn't necessarily, okay, we're good at number 2 wide receiver too, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, I like him at the offensive side of things, Austen. And there's one element, maybe the biggest element of this for me. There's 2 real things. There's so many tangents to this, but there's 2 real. If I really just say, oh, Brent, why do you like this the best? And I'm going to say I like it for 2 reasons the best. One, you went and got a blue chip player. This guy is supposed to be a blue chip player. So I love it. Jags need more of them. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Niners. Look at the teams that win. You do need blue chip players. And the Jags, not hands down, do they have enough of those, right? So they got that. The next thing that I like the most, and if you've been listening to the show, I talk about this a lot with what the Jags have on defense. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker. I look at those 2 guys, and they have 26 and under pass rushers that are a great tandem who I think are dynamic football players and can help you for a long time. And I don't think the rest of the league has that at the age of 26 and 24 or 27 and 24. They can count on that for years to come. Look, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, that's a nice duo in Houston. But Danielle Hunter's like 31, 32 years old. That's different. Now you have those two guys on defense and on offense. You now have Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. And how do you stop that speed? How do you stop that tandem? So on both sides of the ball, you have something that the rest of the league really doesn't, or very few have. I would think Minnesota's the only one that comes close to having this kind of package on offense and defense with Jefferson and Addison, and then also with what they were able to do on their pass rush based on their statistics last year with the guys that they had as well. So I love that part of it, Austen. Like we talk about a unicorn player, I actually think the Jags now have something that the league doesn't have on offense and on defense, and they're 22 years old, 22 years old, 24 years old, and 26, 27 years old. Like that's really good in terms of building a consistent winner.
No, I hear you, but I think that this is a little more, I mean, in terms of edge, yeah, it may be a little more rare, but then we have to ask the question, okay, if Trayvon Walker has another stellar year, then how much are you going to pay him? Are you going to pay out all your salary cap and pay, two edge guys top 5 money? Because that'll be a lot. So you have to ask yourself, what do you do with Trayvon Walker, number 1, going forward, which I hope they keep him, obviously, but it could be a pretty penny. And also I think the Vikings might have it. I think you make an argument that even though Daniel Hunter's on the back 9 of his career, I think, at least last year, the Texans had it if they could have stayed healthy. I think the Eagles have it in a different type of way where they have 2 interior guys that are beasts that makes the job of the outside guys a lot easier. And then obviously you have A.J. Brown and I can't think of his name, Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are shades of other teams that have something like this. But, no, I absolutely get what you're saying. On offense, it's going to be great. I'm just trying to picture how it's going to work on defense. Because I'm going to be honest, if I put my mind as an offensive coordinator, and if you want to tell me that, okay, Travis Hunter's only going to play nickel, Travis Hunter's only going to be on special packages on defense, then what's going to stop me on offense from saying, okay, if that's what they want to do, and assuming that Travis Hunter is going to be a top 5 shutdown corner, let's just throw 2 tight ends out there then. Let's just throw our big packages out there. Let's get him off the field, and all of a sudden, let's keep on passing. But we'll go against a cornerback that's maybe not as good as Travis Hunter.
Let me ask you this: how do you stop this from a defensive coordinator standpoint? You've got 2 elite speed guys that can do a lot of different things. We learned Brian Thomas Jr. can do a lot of different things. He's not just a go route guy. And the book on Travis Hunter is, man, he can run a lot of different routes. Delphonic brings this up, and I think this is one of the reasons why I love Travis Hunter in this whole process. If you want to get the ball out of your hands and get it to him, well, Hunter's a guy that was very good in the screen game. And I actually think Brian Thomas Jr. is way better than I thought he was going to be in the screen game, that bubble screen. And I'm not a big bubble screen guy, but Cohen is going to get the ball in these guys' hands. And I thought Brian Thomas Jr. in late November and in the month of December, when he really started to get a bunch of targets and they were getting the ball in his hands, I really thought he did a great job navigating that traffic and then hitting the speed button, right? Well, I think Hunter really can do that too. You got 2 guys you can do that with, Austen, but you got to respect the speed. I mean, man, oh man, it's going to be fun on offense if these guys can play the way we think they can.
Yeah, it's funny because I forgot who I think actually Devontae Smith might have been the comparison that, whoever writes the NFL.
It was him and Darius Slay.
Darius Slay, yeah. It's funny because, I get maybe from a size point, but me and Jeff Loggeman actually talked about this a couple weeks ago. Of when you watch Travis Hunter on offense, it's the most effortless thing you've ever seen. He doesn't exert himself in and out of breaks. It's just very fluid, very natural. And that's definitely a rare trait, and it almost hurts him sometimes because it looks like he's not even really trying, but he's somehow getting the separation. That's a good thing. That's a great thing, right? And we talked about it before on this show. When you think of guys who just made it look effortless, that made it look natural. Justin Blackmon's a guy that came to mind. And now, obviously, that didn't work out here in Jacksonville, not because of the play on the field, it was the stuff off the field. It's kind of cool to think like, hey, you might be getting another kind of like Justin Blackmon route runner who has his head on his shoulders and who's probably not going to give you any types of problems off the field.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Like, that's the thing about, like, I guess I kind of could have come out of the gates with that. This dude is a cool cat. You know, the smile is contagious. The energy, you see him dancing. He was so excited. People love the idea that he was so excited to come to Jacksonville. He loves to fish. He's a two-time academic All-American. I mean, you can take... I feel like when you're playing for Dion and you play wide receiver and you play cornerback, that this comes with almost like a stereotype, right? Oh, he's Jalen Ramsey. He's X. He's this. And I don't listen. I love Jalen Ramsey, so I'm fine with Jalen Ramsey. But I think it's like, oh, chip on shoulder, all about me. There's some selfishness with that. All the stuff that comes with it. That ain't it, man. Like, that's the thing about this guy. I think the perception of him will be, oh, he's probably a diva. I don't think so.
He talked about soul food for a full minute last night.
I think this locker room, like you said, is going to be contained. They're going to love him. Like, I think we're going to love him. I mean, this dude loves to play football, and he loves to smile. He's got a joy for life, it looks like. And I think that's where, like, this intangibly rich and everything else comes in. And I think if you sit there and listen to Gladstone, and he's like, just come in and be you, man. Just come in, and we just want you to be you. Nothing more. Nothing less, just be you. And to me, he really exemplifies that, Austen, because he's the complete package of everything you just said and what we continue to hear about him. Of course, we'll get to meet him today.
Yeah, I've spoken on this before a little bit. He plays two positions that are very ego-driven and egocentric, and you don't see the least bit of ego. Not to say the guy's not a dog. Not to say on the field this guy isn't going to give you everything he's got, because he will. But my point is that I feel like, especially being a collegiate athlete, being a very coveted collegiate athlete, going to the professional level, there can be a hurdle in terms of, okay, like you think you know everything, but then you get to the NFL and it's like, okay, well, this game is different. The speed is different. The timing is different. All this stuff. And sometimes, when you go in there with an ego, you get humbled very quickly, and some guys can never respond. The cool thing, and listen, I don't want to say this is like the Gardner Minshew effect, because Gardner Minshew is one of one as well. But what got Gardner Minshew in the door, what got Gardner Minshew to have a pretty decent season with the Jacksonville Jaguars, what got him in Philadelphia, what got him to be a starting quarterback for a bit in Indianapolis and then moving on to Las Vegas, is that he's himself. And he knows exactly what it means to be himself. And a lot of guys, and it sounds so simple, but a lot of guys don't really follow that trend. I think Travis Hunter, one of his biggest attributes, like, yeah, I get it. Guy's an athlete. Yes, guy can play both ways. Maybe Travis Hunter's biggest attribute is that he knows exactly who he is and he can be himself. Because you put 9 other collegiate kids, especially in this era now with the NIL and social media and everything like that, you put 9 other kids in Travis Hunter's shoes, I don't think it's going to work out at the collegiate level or the next level, simply because it's way too demanding to play 2 spots, to get all the attention, all this stuff. It works for Travis Hunter because he knows exactly who he is and he's comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah, I mean, he exemplifies all of that. It's really cool, and I think that's why they were willing to go get him, not just the player, but as Gladstone said, the human. All right, we do have Cohen on BTJ and Travis Hunter from last night. I went back and listened to the news conference because we were on like all night, so I didn't even hear a lot of stuff in real time. And I went back and listened, and I thought this was pretty cool from Cohen. He didn't even get asked a lot of questions during the news conference, but this was about the usage of Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Here's what he had to say.
I think just adds another layer for the defense, right? For them to have to defend against or not maybe be able to double team one side of the field or lean a safety which way. Man, BT working with him over the last few days was really impressive. Really impressive. yeah, freak. So that was exciting, and to be able to have this opportunity now to, continue to add to that room, because that room this week I thought did a great job. All the guys, De'Ami Parker, all those guys that were out there competing did a great job, and this just only adds to the competitiveness in that room, as well as to the team, because it's going to be multiple positions here. So, that was pretty cool.
Like, sometimes I feel like we get so many sound bites and other things, and then there are things that just really hit my ears, And he kind of slid in that. Like, this wasn't to me about Travis Hunter. This was a guy that said a lot about Brian Thomas Jr., and he's like, yeah, freak. Like, he just slides that in, like, yeah, freak. Like, he's been on the field with him because they had like this veteran mini camp this week, so we've seen him on the field a little bit more, and this phase 1, phase 2 stuff, right? And it's like, I thought that was pretty cool, Austen. Just like kind of this just genuine, like, man, I thought he was good, but holy cow, right?
Yeah. No, without a doubt.
That was kind of fun. So I just wanted to bring that to. And listen, that's the fun part, is how they're going to use this. I say this all the time about me. I'm not an X's and O's guy, but you talk about a guy that loves drawing up plays, and Liam Cohen, and offensive guys do that. It's like, wow, this guy's going to have some fun trying to draw up plays and how to use these guys. And then I will go back to say, hey, what about De'Ami Brown? What about Parker Washington? What about Brenton Strange? What about Travis Etienne? What about Gabe Davis? Like, what if there's some bounce back in a Gabe Davis or other, now you start filling this thing out. You can have some fun with it. And I know people are worrying about the block and tackle and all this other stuff, but skill positions are fun. Go score points. Go score touchdowns, and we'll see if they can do it. Let me play, before we hit a break, my one-on-one with James Gladstone, because, Austen, I just tweeted this and said this. The Jags got a star in Travis Hunter, we think. I think we found, and we feel like this has been trending, but I'm wondering if it's already time to say the Jags might have a star as a GM.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this guy,
I was wondering if that was where you were going.
No, because you can feel, guys, again, same thing as a player, right? You know when people are really gifted. You know when people are different, like you do.
Sure.
And I know that sounds like drama. I'm not trying to be drama. I'm not trying to be like pom-pom waiver or anything like that. This is different. This guy commands a room. I'll tell you what I'm most impressed with is his ability to talk to the media. Like, he is so comfortable in front of that mic. And Coach Ripley, he's made one pick. That ain't it, Coach Ripley. I'm not talking about the one pick. I'm talking about the actions. And here's the deal. We were in the building a lot yesterday, and it's what people are saying about him. People who have been around the league for a long time. It's stuff that you don't necessarily see, or we don't necessarily see. But we talk to people about him. We're around him. Heck, I was around him for a few minutes after we did this one-on-one, and I mean, there's just a different kind of aura about this guy. At 34 years old. There's a reason why the Rams loved him so much, and there's a reason why the Rams continue to root for him so much. And I think this guy's really good, Austen. Like, I really do. He can't win you football games. He can't call plays. He can't play it for you. He might not get 10 out of 10 picks right. Like, I'm not predicting all that. I'm just telling you the way all the things that he said and has preached and everything, it is exemplified in this first pick. It's exemplified in the bold move to move up. And then everything I'm hearing from the elite communication to the organization to everything else, it's been on display for the last couple of months. I mean, I think this guy really might be as good as advertised, is my point.
No, I understand, but we have to keep in mind of what he's been replacing the past decade here, though, as well. Right? Because I think the reason why we're so infatuated with James Gladstone, as we should be, because, I mean, I agree with you in terms of the sound bites. He's saying all the right things. So far, it seems like he's making a great decision, all this stuff. Like, I get where you're going here, but it's still going to be a performance-based business, right? Like, you can have the sound bites. You can kind of have the swag about you. You can kind of have the chip on your shoulder, but you still got to win football games. So, like, I'm going to reserve my judgment for how great he is until I see what he's put together for the Jaguars on the field. But, everything, I mean, I agree with you. Everything so far he's done, zero complaints. Has been a home run. But I can't call the dude special yet. I can't call him all these things because, unless, once again, this is just me playing the devil's advocate here. What happens if the Jaguars win, let's just say 6 games or maybe 5 games, right? Like they improved a little bit, but not that much. Once again, this is just the exercise. Not saying it's going to happen, but let's say the Jaguars win 6 games and maybe they're picking, I don't know, what would you put them at? Picking 8 or 9. Well, if you're picking at 8 or 9 and you gave Cleveland that pick, well, then was the Travis Hunter pick the right pick? Assuming, once again, I mean, a lot goes into this scenario.
Fair question.
But then what would it have been the right pick?
Well, yeah, and listen, we're going to ebb and flow on this as well. All we have is what's in front of us, and I understand it. There are going to be some bad days in Jacksonville with James Gladstone as the GM. I'm not predicting every day is a sunshiny day. I think it's bigger than even that. All right? I think when you run an organization as big as an NFL team, there's a lot of alignment. There's a lot of other things. You have to get people on the same page. And I'm telling you, from everything I hear, he's doing that in spades. From Mark Lamping's interview yesterday with us to other things that I heard from around the building really for a couple of weeks, but even yesterday a little bit more, to his actions last night, to his commentary and everything else, like from not being afraid to other things. I just think I'm not predicting that they're going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm not predicting that he's going to build the best roster ever assembled. I think it's deeper than that. I think the problems, the scars in Jacksonville were deeper than that. It wasn't just about player procurement. I actually could argue that Trent Baalke at times did a pretty good job of that over the last few years. And we can make those debates. But it wasn't a great place to be in. And the whole big picture of it wasn't great. I think they're starting to paint that. And by the way, I give Baselli credit. I think we should give Liam Cohen credit too in all this. But I think it's off to a great start. And
without a doubt,
I just really, I like a guy that has the guts and the nuts, quite frankly, to go make a move like this. I mean, I really do. I'm so tired of freaking draft picks and saying, we'll go find a guy in the second round. I'm like, go get me a star. Go get me a star. Where professional sports stars win. LeBron James, Shohei Ohtani, Patrick Mahomes, you name it. Get me a star. The Jags just went and said, hey, we're going to go get a star. And now they got to be right on a lot of other things. And I fully understand that. I'm not trying to be too dramatic. We just got to go with what we have so far. And what we have is a one-on-one that I caught up with James Gladstone last night. So let's hear what he had to say. And this is actually, it's not going to sound that different. And this is how smart this guy is. I've never seen anybody be able to say about the same soundbite the exact same way in like 3 different settings. Like, if you ask me to repeat what I just said in the last minute, 3 minutes later, I can't repeat it the exact same way. Like, try doing that exercise. This guy, he actually, like, verbatim is able to deliver what he says almost exactly the same way to me, to Jaguars.com, and to the news conference after. I find that kind of interesting. Now, that doesn't make him a good GM. That just makes him a pretty good communicator, and just might tell you how smart he is. Here's my conversation with James last night. Well, where's the excitement level, the adrenaline, an hour and a half or so after you make this big move?
Yeah, I think ultimately the first pick that this leadership group had the luxury of making, and I think I've said this before, when there's an opportunity for us to be bold, the trademark of this group is that, we won't flinch, and I think this was a reflection of that. And, the excitement about it is certainly something that you acknowledge and you recognize, you sit with, but the idea that we have 9 more opportunities in this draft is really what is more exciting than anything, because the work's not done, the job continues, and we're looking forward to that.
Why did you do it?
I think there's plenty of layers to that. In short, there are players who have the opportunity to alter the trajectory of a game. There are players who offer the opportunity to alter the trajectory of a team, and there are very few players that come up in any given draft that have the opportunity to alter the trajectory of the sport itself. And I think that's the way that we view Travis, and obviously he's got to earn what comes next, but certainly feel good about where we're at and why we did what we did.
how much have the conversations been with him, as much as your folks and coaching staff, about how you will use him? Is he privy to that in the process?
No, at this point in time, it was understood that his intent and his interests are to play on both sides of the ball, as our own. And so at this stage, we'll work through the details of that with him. And in terms of the onboarding process itself, we'll give him a heavy dose of the offensive side of the ball to start, and allow him the luxury of sprinkling in his natural position of corner along the way, and build that up to a more balanced dosage as we move into training camp.
What does this do for your offense, for Liam Cohen's offense, to put Brian Thomas Jr. on one side and potentially Travis Hunter on one side or the other side?
Yeah, I think the easy answer is it opens it up. The more options that you have at your disposal, the better off we'll be. And obviously people are going to have to account for these guys. And we're looking forward to getting him on the grass and seeing what that looks like. But as of right now, certainly enjoying the moment and looking forward to seeing his skill set continue to get rounded out. And, ultimately I think the way that we viewed the pro free agent class was to address the floor of the roster and level that up. And this move right here was to address the ceiling.
You took some laps today around the practice field here at the Miller Electric Center. How much goes into a move like this during the day, during the morning, on the phone, maybe while you're taking some laps?
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to ask, because there were certainly conversations about it during that. And, Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, a lot of respect goes out to him and how he moved throughout this process. We had worked on it for the better part of 2 weeks, and really touching base today to make sure that all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed, to ensure that once the Browns were on the clock, that it was going to be something that we felt good about being able to execute.
I know the most important thing is winning football games, but was it cool to kind of be the centerpiece of this draft day? Nobody seemed to know what the Jags were going to do. Everybody labeling them a wild card. And then obviously you make a big splash move, and, well, all night everybody's talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's always going to go back to the grass, but, certainly we're in the entertainment business and have no problem entertaining.
You certainly did that. Will you sleep well tonight, or how much now goes into the next couple of days from a planning standpoint? Now you don't even have that second rounder. What's this process like from here?
I think consistency is the truest measure of success, and tonight's sleep won't be any different than the last. Tomorrow's wake up won't be different than today, and just looking forward to going back to work tomorrow and using these next 9 picks the best we think we can.
One last one for you. You guys stressed collaboration. How was the collaboration between everybody involved in this pick, but specifically this new regime, and Tony Baselli, yourself, and Liam Cohen?
Yeah, the dialogue never stopped, and in order to onboard a player like Travis who's going to do something unique, we're going to ask that he be nothing more than who he is naturally, and obviously that's going to take more than just one side of the ball. It's going to take coaches across both sides. It's going to take performance staff, sports science, training staff, a long list in order to see this come to life. So collaboration is going to be something that's going to be required in order for it to bear its fruit.
That's James Gladstone shortly after he made the pick to go up and get Travis Hunter. And we did see him walking around, him, Liam Cohen, those guys during the day. They did not. They were stress-free. We had Tony Baselli on. We thought the same thing. I mean, they're very relaxed. Obviously, they thought they had this. They had to wait until Cam Ward went off the board to be able to finalize it. And I did ask James about that a few minutes after. Spent a little more time with him and just was like, I mean, was this a slam dunk, or did you get nervous about, hey, you never know, what's Tennessee going to do, or could Cleveland pull the rug here? He said, yeah, you never bank on it being done, not in this business. You just never bank on it being done. I'll give you just a funny one. So he's like, he said something because he was walking around. He saw us doing the show, Austin, up there.
Oh, nice.
And he knew we had Baselli on. And so I think at one time, again, we just spent a couple minutes after that interview, and he was like, well, so what did you think? What did you want to happen or something? I said, well, Tony asked us in that interview setting, like what we would do. And I said, I would trade up to number 2. You have that? Hamby's got it, so we're going to play it. And this is what we said.
So I got a question for you guys.
Oh,
What do you got?
Who would you guys pick?
Okay, so I'm compiling everything that put together
Don't worry about us. I'm talking
All
about
this-
you. Who does Brent Martineau want?
man.
Who does Brent Martineau want
Well, I
in the
want you to go-
Jaguar jersey?
I want you to go trade up with Cleveland and get Travis
So
Hunter.
you want Travis Hunter?
But realistically, if that's a lot to give up, I'm going with Genty or McMillan. We need another piece on the offense to make defensive coordinators have sleepless nights on Saturday night before a Sunday game with Trevor Lawrence in this offense.
Yeah, I think what we would say to that is you need guys who can score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to score points.
Yeah.
You got to score points in this league today. Austin?
I think if you use the
Watch
verbiage
Tony smile right
intangibly
now.
rich, to me that means production. So on the offensive side of the ball, I look at production. I mean, I don't think Travis Hunter is going to be there, so go ahead and give me Ashton Genty. On the defensive side of the ball, even though he doesn't have a lot of quarterback sacks to back it up, Mason Graham was the number one, the most productive defensive tackle.
Great player.
In all of
He's a great
college
player.
football. So I'm going to go Genty. If not Genty, then give me Mason Graham.
That little wry smile.
That was right.
I don't know if Travis Hunter's going to be there.
So hey, just to finish the story about Gladstone. So I referenced that. I was like, well, I said I want to trade up and get Travis Hunter. He's like, oh, you did? It's like, you should push that back out.
Little do you know.
he was like, hey, he was like advocating for my social media. He's like, you should really push that back out. It's just kind of funny because that's the other part about him. Just think about that dynamic, Austin. Right? He's 34 years old. He understands the content, the news cycle, the entertainment. Trent Baalke doesn't give a damn about that. Like, think about that juxtaposition right there, right? I'd be like, Trent Baalke's probably like, you're on what? Twitter? Like, what's the, like, so, and I'm not knocking him for that. I'm just saying I think he understands all of it, Austin, right? I think he understands the whole picture on what he learned there in Los Angeles and what he's now bringing to the table here.
So that interview with him and you, that was the first time I saw that last night that occurred or whatever, but I haven't seen it yet. So
Well, nobody else had either. It's the first time it's played.
oh, right on. All right, cool, right on. Well, I don't have to put it on social media, man.
Not yet. No, you're not alone.
I wouldn't have saw it anyways. But here's what I'll say about James Gladstone, what I've noticed so far. And I think that video that you shared from last night really exemplifies this. He's going on, I don't know, hour what of work, right? The dude's exhausted. The dude's tired. He's got to talk to the media. Like, yes, he's excited, obviously, because the plan worked out, but like he's still tired and exhausted. And even through that, it almost reminded me of like a UFC champion at a press conference being so confident that you almost put it like on cruise control. Like you almost put it on a flow where it's like, dude, I was raised for this. Like I was born with this. Like I was ingrained with this. Like this is what I do. And I'm not trying to badmouth Trent Baalke at all, but when you would watch Trent Baalke press conferences, especially like after the draft, I don't want to say it was cockiness, it was arrogance, but it was almost like he put everything that he had into what he believed in, which was traits, right? And it was almost like when we questioned it, he would kind of respond and be like, well, you guys don't, you aren't in here. Like, you don't know what I'm basing this all off of. I'm going to base it off of arm length or whatever the case may be. And like, you guys aren't really ingrained in this. James Gladstone doesn't give off that vibe. Like, you don't get an arrogance from James Gladstone because I don't think it matters if you know what's going on or not. Like, he's going to put it out there. He's going to put out his belief system of how he was ingrained in this whole process. And he's going to be confident in doing so because I think he truly believes, like, I'm better at this than everybody. And I'm not going to brag about it. I'm not going to, like, come across as cocky. I'm just going to have this kind of stone cold demeanor, have a little comedy every once in a while, but I'm just going to stand here calm, cool, calculated because I got this and I know what I'm doing. And to echo your point of this guy might be something special, like, once again, you have to win the games to be special, but it's something that you haven't really seen before in Jacksonville in that GM role. And I think it's something you haven't really seen before a lot in the NFL. because we all have these preconceived notions of what a general manager is. Usually we think of like these old crusty guys with their glasses and their notepads and everything who aren't really great communicators because that's not their job. Listen, I have nothing but love for a lot of the GMs that I played for in this league, and there was a couple of them. They weren't the best communicators. Like you wouldn't go out with them to have a beer. It would be awkward. With all due respect,
true,
it would be awkward. I think you can go out and, once again, you're not going to do it, but I think you could go out and have a beer with James Gladstone and have him break down what his philosophies are, and you can just sit there in awe and be like, yeah, this guy knows his stuff, as opposed to really any other GM that the Jaguars have had. Now, is that a big deal? I mean, we'll see, because once again, it comes down to wins and losses. But in terms of communication, we've said it all the time. We've said it all the time since I feel like it was like the Tom Coughlin EVP role, whatever you want to call him. Like, there has not been communication here with this team. And I know that you wrote an article about it. We've all talked about it. Maybe James Gladstone now is that beacon that's going to rally everybody together and say, this is how we talk to each other. This is how we go about our goals. And it sounds childish. It sounds elementary, but that's what this team maybe needs.
Well, I think it's a great observation, Austin. I love your analysis of all that the last few minutes, because I think it's pretty cool way to see it. And I think we see just football sometimes. I think there's more to it, is the point. And I think you're right. I think from Baselli yesterday at noon, I just was struck, and I know Baselli for a long time now. I was struck by how engaging he was on the day of the draft. I think Cohen is an engaging guy. When he's got the time with you, it's not like, okay, I got to get out of here. I think the same thing last night. I spent a couple minutes after with Gladstone. He wasn't like, all right, dude, get out of here. I got to go do something. That's what kind of happens usually. He wasn't. He's like, he's in the moment. And he's not like, I'm freaking out or I got to go somewhere else now or anything like that. Now, the night was kind of over. I get it. But still, that's my point. If we feel a little bit of that on the outside, in these small little moments, the building is now feeling that for months, and the players will feel that too. So I think that's what you just said maybe was more eloquent than what I was trying to say early of all these, things that maybe make this staff intangibly rich right now, quite frankly. One other note I want to bring up, because you said it's about winning games, and you're right. But I want to, when you find something and you think you have it, sometimes you'll be patient, right? Trevor Lawrence, they've been somewhat patient with Trevor so far. They haven't seen the best of him yet. They don't think. He doesn't think. We don't think. But they think it's in there. Well, when the Rams hired Les Snead, I think they probably saw the same thing, and they were patient with it. Do you know in his first 5 years as the GM of the then St. Louis Rams and the now Los Angeles Rams, he went 31-48 in his first 5 years. But most people get fired. They did it. And look what they've done since. 11 wins, 13 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins, 12 wins, 5 wins, 10 wins, 10 wins. They knew they had something. And I'm not telling you that Gladstone can go 5 years and win 31 games. Hopefully he gets off to a better start than Les Snead. But when you got something, you got something. And I think we have the early returns of it. Looks like the Jags have something here with a 34-year-old James Gladstone. And quite frankly, I think the Jags thought they had a little something with Dave Caldwell. And that's why they kept him on for even longer, even under the different umbrella of the Jags organization. So we've seen it before. And I think hopefully there's a better jumping off point here for Cohen and Gladstone so they can build equity rather than have to chase it, even the way Les Snead did in St. Louis. All right, let's take a timeout. Brent Austen Show here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. I know you've had a short night, Austin. I don't want to keep you too long, man, but let's keep you for another segment
no,
at
good,
least.
Man. It's
so
super early here. Like the sun's just coming up, so I can stay as long as you want, but I can try to fix the camera as well.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, we're hearing you fine. So, and that picture, man, I mean, looks like you can go play tomorrow. So we got a good picture up there. All right, let's take time out. Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. I want to get to the chat. Delphonic, I know you had my back on that pick, man. I appreciate you pushing that out there. It should be a promo here on Action News Jacks, right? That was my moment yesterday. Look at these two guys, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter. So fun. That's fun. Have some fun with it. Who gives a damn what they gave up? When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, there they are, the new dynamic duo, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and got some stars on offense now. And listen, you go the impact of a lot of different things, right? Impact the fan base. This is going to sell tickets, Austen Lane, right? You might be going to the bathroom. I think this is going to sell tickets. I think this is going to sell jerseys. This obviously is a legacy play early on for this new regime. It's going to impact Brian Thomas Jr. in a good way. I think it's going to impact Trevor Lawrence in a major way. I think it's going to impact the defense in some way. I mean, talk about the impact of a pick. I mean, this guy obviously impacts a football game, but I'm just not sure we've ever seen a pick. Now, Trevor certainly would be, I shouldn't say ever, but I mean, this is about as impactful as a pick as you can get in terms of the domino effect on this. It's got to be, I said this a bunch of times last night, like I'm not missing something, right? This is the biggest draft night move in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he was the pick. Tony Baselli was a pick, but there's never been a bigger move than this. I mean, we all could have made those kind of picks. I mean, they move up and go get a guy. So, Hamby's Burner got my 100 jersey pre-order in already. Primetime Game says Delphonic. Yeah, I mean, it could impact that too. I gotta believe. I don't know what if they're selling tickets this morning. I'm assuming they are. Yeah, that's going to help. Like this guy does that. When I think about the impact on the fans, I don't think season tickets as much and everything else, and I probably should, but I don't. I think kids. That's where my mind goes. And I'm like, okay, how can you influence a new generation of Jags fans? The kids that are wearing Patrick Mahomes, the kids that are wearing Justin Jefferson, the kids that are wearing those kind of jerseys. Are there enough Trevor jerseys on kids? Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is impacting a little bit like that. But this guy can do it in a different way, I think, because he's just this cool factor that, with all due respect to the others, I don't know if they have that. There's a cool factor here. Austen, I mean, the impact on this guy, the impact on every first-round pick, you can have a domino effect. I just don't know if we've seen one like this, the amount of impact that's going to ripple through the Jags organization, Northeast Florida, and really the NFL.
No, I mean, listen, when it comes to like some of the latest trends and then the hot button stuff, especially with the kids, you know, I miss out on a lot of it. So I kind of let my son be the guide sometimes through all this stuff. And my son couldn't have been more happy last night. I mean, unless it was like an Oregon Duck getting taken in the first round, which wasn't going to happen. I had to break it to him for the Jaguars, but he was ecstatic that they got Travis Hunter because, well, he knows very well who Travis Hunter is. He even said, like, can I get a Travis Hunter jersey? So say no more. You know, I mean, this guy, like, I'm really curious to see because, you know, I understand like usually it's the quarterback that's going to get all the jersey sales, right? But I'm really curious to see like where Travis Hunter, especially as a rookie, is going to rank in terms of, you know, jersey sales, just because once again, this guy, like, you're going to feel it in Jacksonville, but nationally, I think you're going to feel it as well. And that's going to be a pretty cool thing because let's be honest, in Jacksonville, Florida, you haven't always felt that. And Brent, like, what do you think? And it's hard for me to say because it's recency bias, right? But I remember when they drafted Trevor, and like it was, we were more excited because, okay, it's the franchise quarterback, right? It's the guy that can finally get us maybe to the promised land and everything. And we're not saying that Travis Hunter, okay, we got Travis Hunter, we're going to the Super Bowl now. Like, it's not like that. But in terms of hype, in terms of like, do I dare say like primetime games and everything, like, which guy do you feel more excited about? And I get, once again, it's recency bias right now, but like, I feel like if I'm ESPN, I feel like if I'm NBC, like, I want to see some Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I want to see what this guy's going to do.
Well, not only that, Austen, I think just think training camp. Okay, where's he lined up today? How many snaps has he got today?
Sure.
Like, is he going on that side, this side, preseason game? So, yeah, I mean, a unicorn. Like, this is different It is real different. Like, we're not just saying that because, hey, let's homer up. It's Jacksonville. No, that's real life. Like, this is different. And like I had to stop even when we were doing our newscast last night, and like Tanika would toss to us out there, say, "Hey, a wide receiver, cornerback." And I remember one time I was like, "Wait a minute, say it again." Like, that's not normal. Like, we're not talking about a running back that might catch passes, or even a running back that might return punts once in a while. We're talking about a guy that legitimately will play on both sides of the football. That's not normal. Like, we got to stop and be like, hey, let's put that in bold and capital letters. It just doesn't come into the league, right? I think you got to remind yourself of that a little bit. All right, will he really alter the sport? Can he, or was that a little dramatic from James Gladstone, Austen?
I mean, well, yeah, like, he can definitely alter the sport. He's going to be playing two positions. He's going to be playing offense and defense. Like, that's going to change the sport. I think, like, honestly, and once again, I think of this more of him being on defense, right? Because when he's on offense, it's going to be all about, like, the reaction to going against him on defense, right? Like, there's only so much you can do on defense to stop him. On offense, though, it's different. Like, I think teams, and once again, kind of like what I started the show out with, I think teams are going to like try to develop packages just to try to keep Travis Hunter off the field. No other guy has ever had that happen before. Like, I think teams could go, okay, let's put it's a close game. Let's put our Travis Hunter packages in because we don't want him out there. Like, that's what I think we're talking about. And when we talk about game wreckers, right? When you're a coordinator and you got to put a guy on the board and say, okay, this is what we got to do to stop him. Here's what we have to do, all this stuff. Like, it's almost, it's crazy how I visualize, like, an offensive coordinator meeting with his offense, a defensive coordinator meeting with his defense, and they're putting the same guy up there. Like, that's never been done before. Like, that's changing the game. That's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if if offensive coordinators, when the Jags are on defense, are going to tell their receiver to run 7 flies in a row in hopes that he gets too tired and can't go play a couple snaps on offense.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't seem to get fatigued. I do wonder if the body can hold up to as much as he wants to play. I don't think he's playing 130 snaps in a game. I just don't, Austen. Like, what is realistic, Austen? You don't play every snap on offense anyway because there are different packages. But if you run like normally on average about 60 plays in a game, the Jags were a tick under that, I think, last year, unfortunately. But you'd like to be around 60, 65 plays, I think. So if you run that, I mean, maybe he's on the field for 50 of them. Is that fair enough? And there just aren't as many snaps in the NFL, is my point, as there are in college. And then on the defensive side, I got to believe, like, at least the dime package, if not sometimes in the nickel package as well. So, I mean, I think he could play 75 snaps in a game. Like, he can handle that.
Yeah, I would say so. And like with the dime package, I get what you're saying, but like how often? Like I would see him in a nickel. Like dime is. We're talking about a dime. I mean, that's kind of few and far between. And if you're gonna be out there in dime packages, you probably don't need him out there then because you're gonna be winning by a little bit. Usually, I mean, every team's gonna be different, obviously, who you face. What's the ideal rep count? I mean, yeah, if you can talk about getting him, I would say 70% of the reps on offense, because once again, it sounds like they're going offense first. So if that's the case, okay, then let's play along. So put him 70% on the offense, and I guess right now, because once again, I don't want to overload him right away, Brent. Like, I understand he can probably handle it, and he wants to, but like, I'm all about like, let's wait and see how this is going to pan out, right? Like, I don't want to just throw somebody in the fire and be like, okay, go play the whole game, have fun. That's what you want. Like, no, like let's gradually bring him along. So give him 70% on offense or whatever, and then let's give him like a nickel package on defense, and let's go from there. Because we also have to remember this as well. I mean, we're talking about the hype, we're talking about jersey sales, all this stuff. Well, and it doesn't win you ball games, so like let's not get it twisted. But if that's the case, if you're talking about primetime games, well, then you put them on offense, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of great corners out there. Kids aren't tuning in to see their favorite corner shut down somebody for the whole game. kids are tuning in to see wide receivers score touchdowns and do celebrations, right? And once again, it's got nothing to do with winning games. But I'm just saying, from the national media, from the hype standpoint, that's why offense, I guess, would make a little more sense.
Well, you can control the ball in his hands, too. As a corner, you can't get the ball in his hands. I mean, unless he's picking it off. So I think that part. Here's a question I have for you guys. Do the Jags now need corner less than they did yesterday? And, okay, if he's going to play the nickel, at times, if he mixes in, right now they have a couple of guys in Jordan Lewis, who might have been the best nickel corner last year in the league, or one of them, and Jarian Jones, who has played it. We think Jarian Jones is going to get a shot outside, but Tony Baselli said yesterday you got Jordan Lewis, who can also play outside. So somebody's got to move off that nickel spot if you're going to make room for Travis Hunter. So I feel like if you've got three guys that can play nickel and now three guys at least that can play the outside, do you cross it off your list today and be like, okay, that's not really a need for us right now because we've got enough flexibility to put somebody opposite Tyson Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, once again, man, it comes down to the usage, Brent. It really does. Like, if they see him being more of a wide receiver and using him sparingly on defense, then I still think secondary and cornerback could be on the table. But I think there are other pressing needs, right? Like, we can still make an argument for the edge. And but by the way, it's crazy that Mike Green from Marshall is still available, by the way.
Yeah, red flags galore, huh? It cost him the slip.
What was the thing with him? I didn't, because once again, like I was in the airplane watching, but I couldn't really listen.
I didn't either, but I thought when you did your list, I thought there was there was something up with Green on the red flags.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I got you. I don't know if something came out.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I think because it was the whole he had a couple incidents in high school once and then in college where, once again, I don't want to speak on behalf of it because I don't know all the details of the case, but it was some sort of assault, something like that.
It was, yeah. It was a sexual assault allegation, yeah.
I think one in high school and one in college that, he was found not guilty in both of them. But once again, I mean, obviously teams have done the due diligence and maybe this is, the reason. Maybe there's something more to it, so.
All right, how about, let's see, what else do I have for you? I want to get through some of these. Who's the biggest winner yesterday? And then we'll do loser. And we can have multiple winners and losers. It doesn't have to be the biggest one. Because I'll go first. I thought the biggest winner you could argue Trevor Lawrence or Gladstone or the rest, Shad Khan, right? Who's at the top of your pyramid here? I really think it's Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. Like,
that's a good point.
I thought Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, man, like the words that Cohen had said, right? What did we say? Like, hey, he likes the backs. He talked about the backs. Austin said, hey, who's he going to mention? Well, priority mentions back in the news conference over these last couple months, hey, we got good backs. Well, he believes in them. He likes them. Not to say they still won't get another back here in this draft, but they didn't get Genty. Would they have had Genty if they didn't get Hunter and the deal doesn't go through? Maybe. But they didn't get Genty. So Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby are safe. I think they're the biggest winners of last night, Austin.
Yeah, I would say it's a 1A and a 1B. I think Travis Hunter and Tank Bigsby are definitely the biggest winners, and I think Trevor is a close second, just because you have a coach, you have a regime that is trying to get the best of you, right? And it makes a lot of sense. So I think Trevor Lawrence is up there too as a giant winner.
What do you think, Hamby?
I'll take the coordinators. I think not every player gives you this much of a unique opportunity to really showcase that you can, use your players to the best of their ability and put them in the best position to win and really kind of open book it. Right? They're going to be able to be as creative as they possibly can be with a guy like this. Obviously. That doesn't happen if you draft a defensive tackle. It doesn't even happen if you have Ashton Genty. So I think the coordinators and Cohen, obviously as their primary play caller, is a winner because he's going to be able to draw some cool things up.
How about the Cleveland Browns guys? Where are they in the win list? Because they get the 36th overall pick. They get a first-round pick. They get they just dropped back a few spots to get Mason Graham, and obviously they couple him with Myles Garrett. You could have coupled Abdul Carter, but they beef up that defensive line. Interesting, because I know a lot of folks in Cleveland going to school up there, and I had my phone. Text was crazy last night. Everybody's texting, and they were like, some were like, hey, thanks for all the stuff, right? The draft capital. Sure. And others were like, damn it, why didn't we just run the card up there and get Travis Hunter? So I think there's different views, and what they do with those picks will be interesting as well. But I guess right now you would say the Cleveland Browns are a big winner here, right, Austin?
Okay, so I have a little different of a scenario here, and I'll be fully transparent with how my yesterday went down with Cleveland and why I'm a little upset with them and why I think they're a dumpster fire organization. So
that'll be good.
When our show got done and I was picking up my son from school like an hour later, somebody reached out to me and said that it's looking like it's going to be Travis Hunter. And I didn't believe it. And then 2 other people texted me and said, oh yeah, it's going down. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if this is the case, then let me go ahead and, get on some kind of sports book here and, do my thing a little bit. The problem is that when you got on all the sports books, there was nothing for the Jaguars and Travis Hunter. So they were hip to the game before I feel like even like the analysts were like yesterday. Everything, like every book shut down anything with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chicago Bears for a while. Huh. So then I was like, okay, well, if they're getting Travis Hunter, what's Cleveland going to do? So then one of the people that reached out to me, I go, hey, what's the play here? And they said 2 options. They said Mason Graham or Ashton Jeanty. And then I start doing a little deep dive of like, what do the Browns need? What are the storylines? And the biggest storyline that I came across was Nick Chubb was going to sit out until he figured out how the first round of the draft went, which led me to believe that, so then maybe Nick Chubb knows something where they're interested in Jeanty. And it made sense that the Browns would go after Jeanty because think about this. If you sacrifice Travis Hunter, this human unicorn, this unicorn, this one of one, and I feel like the only way you can make it up to your fan base, who, by the way, your fan base kind of hates you all the time, is taking a guy where we can say, hey, we can give you guys touchdowns still. Nick Chubb's on the, I'm not Nick Chubb. Chubb's on the back burner. Jerome Ford's not an every down back. Let's put Ashton Jeanty back there, and maybe you guys can forget about Travis Hunter. So I may have dropped a little coin plus 3,500 on Ashton Jeanty going to the Cleveland Browns yesterday. Everything was going according to plan until the pick was in. And then we get the most, once again, it's ironic because I love this guy. I think he's going to be a great player. But like, I thought for sure the Browns were going to go with Ashton Jeanty simply because like, if you let a guy like Travis Hunter go, you got to put another guy out there that goes, hey, we're still getting production. We're still scoring touchdowns. And they go Mason Graham. And I got, $50 a little more poor yesterday because of it. And it's all good. It is what it is. But like, I think, listen, if you're an NFL guy, you like the Mason Graham pick. He's still the top defensive tackle, all this stuff. But I think if you're in the PR department, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, if you're that organization, you're getting a lot of blowback right now. And you're in a bad light because this is an organization that has made, let's be honest, a couple bad decisions the past couple years, spearheaded by Deshaun Watson. And now you let a guy like Travis Hunter go, who is one of one, and you replace him with a guy who, let's be honest, even though he's on the defensive side of the ball, and I love it, he's not the most sexiest pick you could have picked.
Yeah, how much, by the way, what were the odds on Mason Graham? Do you remember?
So I think the odds of Mason Graham were like plus 2,000. And once again, and I'm like, do I sprinkle both? I'm like, no, this is Ashton. You have to. How could you not? You let Travis Hunter go. You have to be some sort of, exciting. Nope, Cleveland Brown's going to Cleveland Brown.
Yeah.
Mason Graham it is.
And they love to run the ball. Like they really do. Like
Exactly.
That's part of their thing, right? Is they love to run the ball. So, and it's really odd, right? Because they're sitting in the 2-hole. They're screwed up on the quarterback side of things to begin with. But they don't really have a chance to get a quarterback. I call that unlucky. The Jags have been in that spot before where you're just like, Luke Jokel, right? I mean, they're in the spot to get a quarterback, but they just can't get the quarterback because there's nothing to take. Listen, the return is good. By all accounts, the return they got is probably a little bit even more than the value would have said. So the return's really good from a GM standpoint. But did they just whiff on a generational player that sells tickets, get fans excited, and makes you a lot better on both sides of the ball? Or Hamby, my curiosity is, do some teams view Travis Hunter like, we're in a pickle here, we don't really know how to use him? Like they're just a little confused at what the best way to use him, and maybe it was Cleveland that way, and so they're like, well, if we're not convicted that we want to use him this way, let's go get stuff in return and continue to build our team.
I definitely think there's a possibility where there's some coaches and coordinators who are like, this is not where our team is right now, where we need to kind of, like, it's going to take time and effort and energy more than any other player for the Jaguars to make this work as good as it can. I'm not sure that that buy-in was across the board for all these seasons. I'm not saying it was or wasn't for the Browns, but I could see that as a possibility. I think the Browns, the higher likelihood is they were at where a lot of Jags fans thought we were at, that we're not one piece away, so we're not going to make the move. Right? That's the pushback that the Jaguars are getting from a large part of the fan base, I think, today is, hey, we weren't one piece away. If we were one piece away, we would have loved the move 100%. We don't care about the picks, but we weren't. Maybe the Browns were in that same spot, whether they're generational player or not. It might not even have to do with how good they thought Travis Hunter was, is we need more than one guy. And so, look, at the end of the day, they have 33 and 36 tonight. They could take Shadur Sanders at 33. They knew that they didn't need to trade back into the first round because either him or Dart was going to be there with all the teams that were in the playoffs, obviously in the back half of the first round. And then they got 36. They could come away tonight at pick 37 with Mason Graham, Shadur Sanders, Luther Burden, and a first rounder next year. At the end of the day, what you asked James Gladstone was about the splash. He was like, yeah, we like making the splash, but at the end of the day, winning sells. And it's about winning. Well, would you rather have Travis Hunter or Mason Graham and Luther Burden, because you would have had 33 anyway? So we'll just say Travis Hunter or Mason Graham plus Luther Burden plus a first rounder next year. I think a large part of the Browns fan base, although it's not flashy, will say we need a lot more.
I think that's a fair explanation.
But you can also say what happens if you, because listen, we saw this in our mock drafts a little bit. We loved it. If you got Ashton Genty and then Luther Burden, and then maybe you get like Sanders as well, though.
They could have gotten all three.
Dude,
they could have remade their offense in one night.
If you have Ashton Genty, Shadur Sanders, and then you get Luther Burden all in one draft, once again, if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, yeah, Travis Hunter, best of luck to you, but we're all good. I'd be super excited for that. But with Mason Graham, it's different. And Hamby, to kind of go back to what you said about who's the most excited. I do agree with you that coordinators are going to be the most excited. But here's why I think James Gladstone and his kind of messaging and his philosophy needs to trickle down to Liam Cohen and company as well, because the only way this is going to work is if there's a direct communication of what the usage is going to be. Because I'm going to put myself in Campanelli's shoes really quick. If I have a cornerback who probably will be the best cornerback on the team, and I need him out there and he's not out there, I'm going to say something. If the game's on the line, and I'm calling my defense, and I'm like, okay, we got to shut down. Let's say we're playing the Texans. We got to stop Nico here, guys. Where the hell is Travis Hunter? Why is he not out there? Right? I don't want to go down that road, because keep in mind, yes, it's about winning football games, but we've seen coordinators get fired before when they've had when they're part of a decent team, a decent season. So it's still about the on-the-field performance from each side of the ball as well. So if I'm Campanelli and the game's on the line and I don't see Travis Hunter out there covering the best wide receiver, I'm going to have something to say about it. So there needs to be, establish these rules now, guys. Right? Don't wait till the heat of the battle to do all this. Establish the rules now, because once it's live reps, once it's meaningful games, that could be an issue.
Yeah, listen, I think we would be coming in here today excited, but also a little worried, if this was last year's regime, quite frankly. I'm not telling you I have full confidence that everybody's going to get this one right yet, because we have scar tissue over here in Jacksonville from a lot of different things. I just think the hope is different because you have a new regime. And we know everything you just said leads back to communication for me, and these guys are supposed to be pretty good at it. So if you have a plan, and again, I'll go back to Liam Cohen at the owners' meetings a month ago, said exactly this. You have to have a plan for him. So they already were talking, at least even to us, about that. Mm-hmm. So you know they're talking internally, and I have confidence they have a plan. When the stuff hits the fan, do you stick to that plan? Like, that's going to be the number one question. Like, the next thing for us to see at some point, and that's probably closer to the season, is when adversity strikes or things change and you can't plan it. How does this team react? How does this front office react? And we don't know that yet. Everything else can be kind of planned out. So, and quite frankly, even this was planned out. They didn't have to deal with the adversity of, oh, crap, they don't want to trade with us anymore. They actually got what they wanted, and they planned for it. So there's a lot that goes into that.
Can I throw out one more thing?
What you got?
Man, if we would have just lost to the Tennessee Titans in Week 17 last year.
Don't do it, Hamby.
If we would have just done it.
It's a loser mentality.
I'm sorry.
Loser mentality.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do it. Hey, you still got your guy. That's all that matters.
I know.
Here's the deal. I'll be honest with you about what I said last night and what I continue to say today. And this goes back to even last year. I'm a living in the moment guy. I understand what the ramifications are that. I also think I don't always agree with Austen on I didn't necessarily agree with Austen on the Trevor Lawrence one. Okay, I thought losing at that time for the benefit of the
bar, Brent.
Yeah,
we know.
But the benefit of the organization, I think that changes sometimes. I thought. My view last year was like, you got to win. You just got to win games. And at the time, like you were still kind of, you had a little bit of hope somewhere in there in December.
Yeah.
It's like, stop losing games. Like, stop. I don't want the number one pick. I remember saying I don't want the number one pick. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know? So like there was an element of that. And much like last night, it's like, hey, did you give up some stuff? Could you end up giving up the 12th pick? And next year, you're sitting here on draft night, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they gave up the pick, and they could be picking this guy. Listen, you're all going to have those feelings next year. You're going to be like, man, we should be taking this guy at number X, right? I don't care about that right now. Like, I think you go get a star, and I like it in the moment, and I'm not going to deny I don't like it in the moment. I'm not worried about tomorrow that much. I'm really not worried about next year that much.
Preach.
It's time to win. And by the way, you can trade into the first round if you really want to next year and just keep pushing it down the road and kicking the can, man. That's what the Rams did, and they won a Super Bowl doing it. So
Preach.
I'm fine with it. So I guess just to put a bow on this conversation, the other side of it, did the Jags give up too much? And let me just add one more thing from my standpoint. There are two things I don't fully understand why fans get wrapped up in. And I understand there are a lot of people that know the game so well. We're so savvy to the game, especially the NFL and all the different parts of the game and the calendar and elements, like not like Major League Baseball and other things. Hamby, you were explaining the Major League Baseball rules and Casey and the other day, right? And Rule 5 draft and all this stuff. Like, nobody knows what that stuff is. We know everything about undrafted free agents to franchise tags to everything in football. So we're very keen on what's going on in the NFL on a pretty broad base. You know, a lot of people know what exists. But I never understand why people get so bent out of shape about a team giving a big contract to somebody, or like this, giving away draft picks. It ain't your money, and who cares about a year down the road? Like, you're all going to be bitching if they lose and don't have enough good players in the fall. So, like, how about we just get through the season and see if this dude's good, and then we can complain about that next year?
Sunshine and Rainbow has been a little corrupted. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you could go a long ways with that logic of only caring about today, but I understand, especially against with the picks. I as successful as we've been at picking in the last decade is for sure. The people who grandstanded on "Holy cow, we just gave up a bunch of picks," I didn't really understand their argument last night.
So you're okay with it? Because I feel like you might be a guy that does get wrapped up in the, oh no, you just gave away a first rounder.
No, look, I'm optimistic and I'm glad that we did it. I'm not gung ho of, we did give away very valuable picks, so it comes with that understanding. Again, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad Travis Hunter is on our football team, and this is where I go back to for me personally, as a guy who was not an Ashton Jeanty guy. I did not want Ashton Jeanty at all. I am so much happier today that we just have Travis Hunter instead of Ashton Jeanty.
Interesting.
We got one instead of the other. I don't care. I would have given up those picks to have Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty.
Austin, what about you? Do you care about the capital that's been given up?
Nah, Brent, it ain't my money. I don't care, man. Like, listen, come on. What are we talking about here? Like, it's kind of funny because, I'm reflecting back now on all the stuff that we talked about during Shock Your Mock and all the draft coverage and everything. And I probably said this more than I've ever said any kind of cliche phrase before, if he's there, because I didn't think there was any realm of possibility that the Jaguars were going to get him. So yeah, I kept on saying, well, if we can get him, that'd be great. But he's not going to be there. I must have said it
you said it to Maselli yesterday.
Yeah, I said it to Maselli yesterday. I said it to the EVP yesterday. That'd be cool, right? But he ain't going to be there. That's where I was. Right. So then when you see what you gave up to get him, I do not care, because in the realm of my thought, I didn't think it was even an option. Yeah, we talked about him and he was a polarizing conversation to have of where do you play him and all this stuff. And, he boosted the viewership. Cool. But there wasn't if you would have asked me the odds of Travis Hunter being a Jacksonville Jaguar, the percentage, I would have given it a 5% chance. I just didn't see it happening. I didn't see the Cleveland Browns wanting to play ball with that. Yeah. And honestly, I thought it would have cost even more, probably. If you look at it now in retrospect. So did it cost you a lot? Sure. Are you going to miss out on a fantastic player in the second round? Luther? Probably. But at the end of the day, you got a unicorn, man. You caught a unicorn. You caught a unicorn when I didn't think he was even in the forest to catch. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it's listen to what James Gladstone has to say about this very question, right? Did you give up too much? And his response was pretty cool and kind of addressed the fans, really.
Oh, you know what? I probably got some familiarity with the them picks sort of process. So for our fans, I'll tell you, don't be scared. This is something I'm uniquely positioned to navigate, and we ended up with we ended up bringing Travis Hunter to Jacksonville, and with that, he is somebody who is deserving of a first-round draft pick as a wide receiver, and he is worthy of a first-round draft pick as a corner. Certainly look forward to each of those elements showing themselves over the next few years while he's under his rookie contract. But, yeah, we're excited about just getting him in the boat, so to speak.
That's kind of a cool answer, by the way. And if they valued him at that, right? They valued him as the best player on the board for sure, but they valued him as a first-round wide receiver and a corner. Now, you're not going to if they had drafted a first-round corner, that corner would probably play a lot more snap to snap than maybe Hunter's going to play. But that's how good they think he is. Now we'll see if they're right. And Austin, one more thought on this. That's also why they needed to probably spend a little bit more. The Cleveland Browns were like, hey, if you're going to take this player from us, you're getting a two-way player. You're not just going to get a wide receiver like a Julio Jones. And so it's going to cost you a little bit more since you're getting a guy that's going to play on both sides of the ball. That's my guess is why they had to pay a little bit extra.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Like, Cleveland, I mean, listen, I think it's crazy to say because when we see how these drafts always shake out, there's always a winner and a loser, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here a year from now, 2 years from now, and we're talking about how, well, when you look at it, both sides kind of won. And I think that's rare. And I think that that never really seems to happen. And let's be honest, it probably won't happen. And maybe that's because, well, maybe great Mason Graham, whatever. Like, a lot of things can happen, right? And with Cleveland's side, it's going to be a lot more guys having to step up than it is our one guy in Travis Hunter. But the way that it looks right now on paper, I think both teams can actually benefit from what took place last night. Now, optically, it looks really bad on Cleveland right now, I feel like, for their fan base, and we're celebrating, we're popping champagne, we're at the lemon bar jumping in the pool. But I think once this second round shakes out for Cleveland and you see a little more of the plan, I think both sides could benefit mutually.
Yeah, it's a plausible scenario for sure. Mission Run Good Poker Series is underway, folks, from now until May 4th at Best Bet Jacksonville. Make sure you go check it out over the next couple of weeks and go to bestbetjacks.com. Find out how you can be a part of it. Next Thursday, we'll be at Best Bet Jacksonville, part of this big series. And right now, the plan is to put the final table on May 4th on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network on a Sunday afternoon. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, Best Bet Jackson, check out all the different locations, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and Monument Road right there in Jacksonville as well. Time out on the show, Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Travis Hunter will be introduced today at 2 o'clock. We will carry that live on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We'll be down at Jags headquarters throughout the night. We have an 11:15 special tonight as well. So more coverage of draft days 2025, and there's the embrace and that football
always in hand.
Always in hand. Funny thing is, he got asked about it in the news conference. I had asked about it when we were in the hallway. I was like, man, you always carry that football around. It's like a cup of coffee for me. I'm going to get one right now. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Action Sports Jacks is the biggest brand in Jacksonville, and we're excited to add another partnership for this team's biggest season yet. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is now the official streaming network of the Jacksonville Sharks for their 15th season.
The Jacksonville Sharks are your champions.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
That wasn't it, was it? There's more than that. Come on, give me some good reaction, people. Where is this?
Eric took a while.
That's fine. We can watch it. We're waiting. I like these reaction shots. Holy cow. Come on. Let's get ready to celebrate. Oh, Armstead's up there now. Okay. Is that like bottlenose or something like that? Did I hear? Is that this one's that? It's not strings. That's it. That's it. Get a little more fired up, people. See, the problem is they weren't drunk enough.
I guess not. We almost had the airplane doing a barrel roll with me and my son cheering about it.
I mean, the lemon bar reaction was good. I think we have one of those we'll get to as well. I thought that one was just okay, quite frankly. And maybe what we don't know is like once they got on the clock, like once you made the trade, right? People knew what was happening. And so maybe that's where they really went nuts, right? So it's there were kind of two phases of this. Which was just kind of the whole wild process. You're like, okay, everybody's talking about it's going to happen. Is it going to happen? And then when that does happen, you know what they're trading up to get. And it takes a little bit of the, I guess, the curiosity and mystery out of it. So some of the scenes from around the area. There we go. That's the lemon bar one. A little later, we'll show you an up top version of that too. But I think the lemon bar worked. Like, it looked like it was pretty cool. Austin, have you heard anything? I haven't seen much people complaining or anything like that. I mean, it looked like they packed them in. It looked like it was an awesome night, by the way. The weather was fantastic. So I think this thing went okay. There was a lot of curiosity about that because it's such a small place, but I think it went all right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard much about it, Brent, but by all indications from some of the videos that I've seen, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, good time.
Yeah, good time had by all, especially the way it turned out. And the other thing is, you moved up the night by about 40 minutes. Well, maybe about a half hour. You didn't have to wait this long and could get home and go to work or whatever you're going to do. Let's go on this. Let's go with this angle for a few minutes. Now what? So they don't have a second round pick. They've got 2/3. And I'm kind of asking myself that, right? Like what's next? I just threw out this scenario where, okay, you don't need receiver. which we thought could come in the second or third round. I don't think you need corner right here now. Like, I really don't. I think this hides corner. Whether they were going to take that in second or third round, I don't know. But I don't think you really need it. And so now you're talking about, to me, an edge rush, defensive interior, still very much in play. Are those the two priority spots now for you, Austen?
Yeah, because just here's how I look at it, Brent. You picked fifth in this draft and then traded up for a reason, because you weren't a good team last year. And coaching had something to do with that, but the roster also had something to do with that as well. So if I'm James Gladstone and company, I gotta say, whoever we take in the third, like, it can't be a project. It can't be. I feel like it can't even be a center where it's like, let's just integrate him for a couple of years and he'll be the guy. Like, you still need immediate impact. And I think if that's the conversation, then the two positions that can really give you immediate impact right away in the third round, mind you, is probably going to be edge and defensive tackle. Like, people can say, well, what about Trevor Lawrence staying upright? What about guards? What about tackles? That's great and everything. Are you going to find a starter realistically in the third round at guard or tackle? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Right? So then let's get some immediate impact. Let's go either, defensive end, defensive tackle, or if there's a safety out there that they really like.
Uh-oh.
Oh, did we just lose him?
Oh, might have. Brent, this immediately takes me to the Gladstone soundbite where he's like, we're going to have to take guys in the draft that play right away.
Did he said that last night?
No, not last night.
Oh,
that was
in the pre-draft?
Pre-draft luncheon.
Yeah.
And I think at the NFL meetings as well, where he's like, where he was asked, why didn't you go get as many? And he's like, honestly, we didn't want to clog it up.
That's right.
We want to go get guys that are going to play right away.
Yeah, that's a good call. What do you think, Hamby, tonight? Interior, pass. Are we hitting the spots?
Tackle and edge.
Yeah. And listen, I'm not. You go here, it's like, I don't know if you go need, right? I think they're going to go best player available kind of stuff, but I think this is where you kind of, so many different times you'd be like, oh, that was our best player available, right? And I think this is going to shift a little bit toward, all right, need, and that fill the hole, Austen, kind of conversation we had with Tony Baselli yesterday. And they can like what they did in free agency. They can like a lot of things. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Have confidence in what you did, conviction about what you did. But we also know there are upgradable spots. And I would prioritize the pass rush here. I mean, and on the edge. And even more than the interior. I'll continue to say I think the guy that you get on the edge can help you more right now in September, in October, November, December, and January, than the interior guy will. I think they have bodies, including the guy that made the announcement last night in the first round for the Jags, in the interior. I really think if there's a player on the board and you have an edge versus an interior player, and they're similarly graded, I would pick the edge guy, Austen, right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, yeah, because you're not going to, especially in the third round, unless you trade up, like, Grant's off the table, obviously. Nolan's off the table. Obviously, I feel like any immediate impact defensive tackle is probably off the table in the third round.
Yeah, how about all those shocked your mocks?
Yeah.
Nolan goes at 12, and Grant was like 13.
Grant, Nolan, we're getting Nolan in like the third round in some of them. Yeah.
I knew Kenneth, guys. We said it. We all said it. I knew Kenneth Grant was going in the first round, right? I mean, there's no doubt that dude was going in the first round.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna go a little later than I didn't know he was gonna go that early.
That was early.
Like, I thought he was going to Detroit for sure. So like that was a little surprised to see him go that early. No, Brent, I agree with you here. Where if you're talking about immediate impact, you might as well see what you have with a new defensive coordinator and some young guys in the interior, and then obviously Eric Armstead as well. Right? And if you go with an edge in the third round, that's going to be a guy. Okay, will he be a bona fide starter right away? Well, absolutely not. But can you rotate him in on packages? Can you maybe get something out of him? Maybe it's 4 or 5 sacks. That would be fantastic, right? Like, I can see that for sure. So while I was a big proponent where if you didn't go Travis Hunter, if you didn't go Ashton Genty, you go Mason Graham because I felt like he could be a difference maker. Well, now the table has shifted. And now it's more about, well, who can get on the field right now for immediate impact with value in the third round, and that's going to be edge.
Man, it would be cool if we were at 36, though, because we'd be a lock to either get Mike Green or Donovan Zaraku, two studs on the edge that were first-round guys. They're
Mike
just sitting
Green
right there.
Yeah. I mean, but once again, obviously teams maybe know something that we don't, Hamby, but Mike Green in the second round is wild to me because once again, without the off-the-field issues, which obviously could be a huge part here, just from a pass rusher in general, dude's a stud.
Hey, I want to get to, before I'll forget about some of the things that we have, some of the elements. And I thought this was pretty cool last night. Just with Brian Thomas Jr., we had a chance to talk to him, and it's kind of loud. It was obviously at the Lemon Bar. It was one of the easiest places to do interviews, especially when we're at Jags headquarters. But I think we just clipped out the Brian Thomas Jr. part. Hick and I were doing an interview with him, and we obviously before the draft. I mean, this is some couple hours before, or an hour and a half or so before the pick. But you'd love to get the idea what Brian Thomas Jr. would think about Travis Hunter. Here's the conversation.
Well, Brian Thomas Jr., we're over here at Jags headquarters. We're running up and down the stairs and trying to knock on the door of the war room and say, hey, trade up and get
Can you turn that up?
Hunter. I want to see Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. But if you stay at 5, maybe Ashton Jeanty. I mean, you're an offensive guy. How dynamic, if you add a weapon on offense, can this Jacksonville Jaguars offense be? You got to be rooting for it a little bit, right?
I mean, that's above my pay grade. I'll be super excited for whoever they pick. I know they'll make the right choice for the organization. I know they'll make the right choice to fit us best as a team. So, I'm just super excited to see who they'll pick.
That's a very good political answer. So let me rephrase it a different way. If you're on one side and Travis Hunter's on the other side, my gosh, what will they do? How will they stop you, Brian?
I feel like that one will probably be unstoppable.
That's loud, huh? That would be unstoppable.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we got him. We got him to say something about it. And,
yeah.
Is it unstoppable? Brian Thomas Jr. looks like a star, man, and Travis Hunter is a star. I mean, I don't know. We get hyperbole this time of this on days like today. I get it. I just I don't know if that's hyperbole. I mean, and unstoppable is a different level, but it's dangerous. It's definitely dangerous.
Yeah, so what I love about it, and we've talked about this a lot, Brent, right? It's you need your 1A and your 1B at wide receiver, okay? They had it in Tampa Bay. You had Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer. You got the speedster Chris Godwin. The interesting thing, I think more than anything, about Brian Thomas Jr. now and Travis Hunter is like, great, for instance, take the Eagles. Won a Super Bowl. Yeah, defense did a lot, but also they had two really good receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. When you put them in a box, you know what they do well. A.J. Brown was more of the outside threat where he's uses physicality, go up and get it. Devontae Smith is more of that burner. In the middle of the field, you get him the ball on posts and things like that. If he's got open field, he's going to score. Like, you know what you're getting there. With the Dolphins, like, you know what they do well, right? With Tyreek Hill, gadget guy, get the ball in space, do your thing. Jalen Waddle, more in the middle of the field, but still a fast dude, do your thing. The cool thing, and by the way, Mike Evans, hey, jump balls, those are going to be yours. Outside routes, those are going to be yours. Chris Godwin, when you're healthy, inside the field, use your track speed, go get it. The interesting thing about this dynamic now, Brent, of Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., how do you define them? Like, what are they? Because I can sit here and go through the league. Like, I think Justin Jefferson is kind of an enigma when you put him in a box because you can't really do it. He's so good at everything. Same thing with Jordan Addison. But there's very few teams you can go around the NFL and give them your 1A, 1B wide receivers and say, okay, so who are these guys? I don't know who they are, and this is a compliment because they can do so many things. Is Brian Thomas Jr. the deep threat? Is he the jump ball guy? Is he the gadget guy? Is he the bubble screen guy? I have no idea. What is Travis Hunter going to do? Is he going to be in the slot? Is he going to be on the outside? Is he going to be the burner? Like, there's so many things that you can do with these guys, Brent. And if I'm Liam Cohen, I'm so excited to showcase this because you can't put these guys in a box. There is no defining role of them as a wide receiver because they can do so many different things. And we want to talk about, we have something on the edge where it's where it's Josh Hines Allen and it's Trayvon Walker. Like no other team has that. Very few other teams have two wide receivers have 1A and 1B that you can't really put them in a box of what they can do.
Well, the Jags hit a home run, right, with this first pick of the new regime. I always think about this to start the season, and I'm like, hey, when you go get Trevor Lawrence, let's just say, at 21, or you get Brian Thomas Jr. Last year. And by the way, I've been feeling like I've said this for years and years. I'm like, one of these days, to start the year, on the first play from scrimmage of the season, I want to see like a bomb, just to be like, let's go, right? And obviously, if you execute it, it'd be great. I just always have this in my mind like it's a video game. And I thought of it last night also. I didn't really say it until right now, but I thought of like, hey, the way they just came out of the gates with this new regime, we actually might get that bomb play right out of the gates. Just send them on a go route. Sure. These two guys and just bombs away Trevor Lawrence. See if we can hit on a 75-yard touchdown to start the year.
No, this is really true. But the one thing I'm going to say about that, and I like your enthusiasm, and I guess this isn't the same thing because there might have been a couple plays before that. Wasn't Nick Foles' first play a bomb, or was that like his second or third play?
That's a good question. I know like his, I don't know, 10th play or something, or second pass was a touchdown. Nice ball too when he got hurt. So, but I don't know. That's a good question. That might have been. It might have been. I'm not sure. I just know I always feel like I asked for that either at the outset of the preseason or at the outset of the regular season. And I'm like, just come on, dial it up. Just make a statement, right? Jags made a statement last night. So I think that's some of the fun of it. Hey, just let me get all the people in the chat and everybody in the chat. Thanks for chatting last night during our show. If you jumped in on our show, we did 2 hours on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. We did 3 straight hours from TV. Oh, really? They're about 7 straight hours on TV and the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. But a lot of people in the chat today, so just get a couple of them. 310 Fire 11 BTJ is also a big winner. Some pressure will be taken off him. Speaking of that topic, Ron says biggest winner is the Jaguars. The players, the fans. This is great for Trevor. I think he plays on offense, plays on third down and long. If they're having trouble on defense, you play more. Timmy says BTJ is definitely the biggest winner. He can move all over the field. And you just got a player that can move all over the field who's probably more twitchy than BTJ. Just to your point, Austin, he brings that up as well. YB400 Hunter was on Zillow 2 days ago looking for a house in Ponte Vedra. It's interesting. It was like the night before the draft. They thought they were going to Jacksonville. And maybe that was a Rappaport report. People got it put together. And he even said, I think last week, his agents started to figure out that maybe he was going to Jacksonville. Austin, does this surprise you that they had no communication with him since the combine?
Yes and no. Like, I say yes because you want to make sure the guys do. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, and this is against the James Gladstone philosophy here, but I feel like with most GMs, they kind of want to keep tabs on everyone, right, and make sure everyone's doing okay. All this stuff. That's not Gladstone's MO at all, because I do feel like listen, if James Gladstone would have reached out to Travis Hunter 3, 4, 5 weeks ago and just talk to him a little bit, who's to say his agent's not right there and his agent picks up on it? Then all of a sudden his agent's going to go, oh, hey, because I mean, let's be realistic here. I'm not sure how many teams reached out to Travis Hunter, but you had to figure, just kind of like I did, he's going number 2 overall. Like they're not going to trade him away, right? So then if you have a guy from Jacksonville calling you when it's all but apparent that the Browns are taking him, well, then maybe there's going to be some smoke and maybe there's going to be some more reports. So I thought we give a lot of credit to James Gladstone for, trading up and getting his guy, quote unquote, but also give him credit to how he handled these last couple of months of just keeping things hush hush and us not really having a clue until, maybe a few days before.
Yeah, and I think that part of it's fascinating. If they were working on this for 2 weeks, it really just started to get out Wednesday night, and that was Ian Rappaport. He couched it. We talked about that yesterday. I actually brought that up to Gladstone just off camera, and he's like, I don't know if anybody leaked that. I think that was more him putting the pieces together that this could happen, which whatever pieces he was hearing from Cleveland and other things. I thought that was interesting to hear that from Gladstone. That's kind of what he told me. So I don't know what. And then the leaks, obviously people started to dig into it, and then you almost wonder if like Cleveland said, all right, let's see how much we can get, right? So maybe we will push this out here a little. Maybe we get a late, who cares if there's some smoke? And again, the only thing you're careful of if you're the Jags is you don't want to deal until you know Cam Ward's going to Tennessee. That's the thing. Now, it would be bad business, or you might just get trumped by another better deal. Who knows? But I think at that time they knew our deal's pretty good. We got a handshake agreement, and that's why it started to get out a little bit more on Wednesday. Hey, just to give everybody a heads up, we're almost at the noon hour, which means I'm going to go live on CBS 47, and you get to watch this because the only way to do it is if I do it in the middle of the show. So we'll be on TV for a moment. So Austin, you can't talk during that time, or you're going to be on TV as well.
Then I'm talking. Let's go.
That's right. Hey, listen, I got enough things in my ear right now, combined with last night. I'm still hearing things. Let's see, a couple other real quick comments from everybody in the chat. We've had so many comments in the chat that I couldn't even go back to the top, at least where I'm looking. Bleep those picks. Put on a shirt, right? I got another shirt. How many shirts can I make?
Man.
Well, I guess some more for sure. YB400 really is like, hey, it's the best player in the draft. Don't worry about the picks. I like it. He's on board with it. Timmy Devil says he's not really on board with it because you're saying you are primed to not have first-round picks is not something to be proud of. That worked in L.A. doesn't mean it's going to work here. Also, you're saying you need a handicap to pick good. I don't know what the handicap is, maybe moving up or getting some help.
So.
Daniel says the Jaguars are historically bad at first-round picks. Give them away, and you can't go wrong. All right. We're probably about a minute away from me doing a little bit of TV here. So you guys can watch. I'm going to eventually throw to a little sound as well, but that's what you're going to see here. Give me a moment. Let's do some... I think I got like 30 seconds I can talk through still here, guys. But and then when on the other side of this, I want to take a broader look at the whole first round. You mentioned defensive tackles, what's still to come, who's out there. Did anything change in the AFC South? All these things. But give me a moment first so we can do a little TV on CBS 47 right now. They would love to do that, but they're not going to be able to keep this kind of momentum going. That was a blockbuster move last night. This whole city, the Jags fan base, I think the NFL is really excited about Travis Hunter and what he brings to the Jacksonville Jaguars, how he couples with Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., and now this new regime. This was the most brash and biggest move I think the Jaguars have ever made in the NFL draft, to go up and get Travis Hunter, a wide receiver and a cornerback. And the Jaguars are already putting plans in place at how they will use him. They will use him on both sides of the football, but primarily they will start him at wide receiver. So Brian Thomas Jr., Trevor Lawrence, and of course Travis Hunter. How do you stop that if you are an opposing defense? They can keep people up at night. We had a chance to catch up with the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars, James Gladstone, one-on-one last night. Here's what he had to say about the monumental moment. The fans are loving it. We are in the middle of the Brent Austen Show right now on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. You can watch all the way until 1 o'clock at actionsportsjacks.com. Then we go to Jags headquarters. Travis Hunter will be there. Introduced at 2 o'clock. We'll carry it live on TV. And then more coverage throughout the day. The Jags have 2 third-round picks tonight. They don't have a second-round pick anymore because they traded that to Cleveland to get Travis Hunter. Live in the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network studios, I'm Brent Martineau. All right, there we go. A little TV here on the Brent Austen Show. Thanks for hanging with us during that. The only way we can do it is if we do that live. So appreciate the patience there as we begin the noon hour, a day after Travis Hunter gets drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Austen Lane in Oregon. Brent Martineau here, Jason Hamby as well. The entire Action Sports Jacks team ready for day 2 of the NFL draft. And, okay, let's look at this now. Cam Ward, holy cow, Austin. A quarterback goes number 1 overall, and nobody's talking about it.
I feel like for Cam Ward and Tennessee, like I don't want to give Tennessee a lot of flowers or props or anything, but you want to talk about a guy who's going to a situation that probably isn't the best right now, a lot of pressure on his shoulders. I think he's kind of, relishing not having all the spotlight and all the pressure on him right now.
Yeah, it'll be. Do you think Cam Ward's going to be very good? Because I'm kind of mixed on him, man. I don't know how good Cam Ward. Like I'm not right now. I'm not scared of Cam Ward. I guess is what I'm saying. Who knows? He might be really good. I don't get that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm scared of Cam Ward by any means, but I mean, this is the thing with the Titans or any of the first pick of the draft. Like you got to keep swinging until you get your quarterback. So. I'll tell you what I did like, and once again, this doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but just by look and presentation, the way that he carries himself, I do like the fact that he just seems like he's all about football. Not really a flashy guy. Like you see that, you probably didn't see it, but like dude wasn't like rocking chains or anything. He had like a little like link chain and that was it. Wasn't like really celebrating, going crazy. I mean, he was just like, all right, let's get ready to go to work and everything. So I think he's got the right mentality. For the position. I think he has the right mentality for the first pick overall, and he's not going to get too enthralled with the bright lights and all the attention and everything. Now it's just a fact of can he put his skill set to use and usher the Tennessee Titans to some wins.
All right, here's what else happened. Obviously, Travis Hunter, we know Abdul Carter, no surprise. Will Campbell, the Patriots do go. I mean, people nailed that pick to the Patriots. And then Mason Graham goes number 5. He just arrived in Cleveland, by the way, to be introduced, much like Travis Hunter arriving here in Jacksonville probably a short time ago. Ashton Genty.
Go ahead. Brent, can I just say one thing about Will Campbell? I've never seen a player get selected that like echoes his coach so much, I feel like, than Will Campbell. And just that whole city and that whole staff now in New England, man. Like he's a Mike Vrabel guy through and through. Like, I'll die trying to protect this team. It's just like, okay, man, that's Vrabel all day. You got it.
Yeah, I sense that too, and I haven't done a lot on Will Campbell, but I saw like the phone call, and I was like, yeah, that seems like a fit. It does seem like a fit. Which is pretty interesting. Just to go back, I guess we can't get off Travis Hunter. I don't know if he is like, I don't know what a fit is in Jacksonville. Like, do you guys have a fit in Jacksonville? But what my mind goes to is like, I'm not sure he's a fit in Jacksonville, like traditionally, because this feels a bit outside the box. This feels like, hey, we're taking a big jump. We're taking a really bold move. And I know they've tried to say, hey, we're going to be bold for a long time. And there have been some examples of that. But this is pretty damn bold to give up a first round. This is not the norm. Not everybody would have done this. And that's why the Jags were able to make the move. So I'm not saying the play or the personality. I'm just saying the whole idea, everything is different probably to any team that would have drafted him. But really here in Jacksonville, where we kind of just normally I feel like we plug along like, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be done. So let's do this and hope we get it right.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. You're not wrong there, Brent, but like I look at I look at a guy like Justin Jefferson and he plays on a team that's had some great receivers in the past, right? But like would you say of all places, the guy who essentially invented the gritty and everything, like was his best fit in Minnesota? Probably not. But guess what? It works, man. And like he's Minnesota through and through. Like if you see a Vikings helmet, first guy you think of nowadays is Justin Jefferson. So I get exactly what you're saying. Like, would Travis Hunter fit better in New York, right? Would he fit better in other places? I think when you're a special talent like that, like we hope that Travis Hunter can be here, like what Justin Jefferson is in Minnesota, it doesn't matter where you are because the town, the city, they're going to gravitate towards you.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. He loves to fish.
There we go, man.
All right, let's go fishing.
Paul Dozier.
Let's go fishing. Presented by Nimnick Buick GMC. He's going to be part of our segment every Thursday.
Paul's favorite player.
Paul is either really excited we can get him out on the water with him, or we just bumped Paul. I'm not sure which one. Travis Hunter's going to be our fishing guy. One of the two. All right, Genti, Membu. Hey, McMillan goes number 8 to Carolina. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, it did a little bit, but obviously it makes a lot of sense from Carolina, right? Because I think they were talking about the Jalen Walker going to that spot as well. But that doesn't. Sorry, Hamby, but doesn't make sense though. Like you have Bryce Young, who now is kind of coming into his own. You have, I don't know, a 45-year-old Adam Thielen, I think, being like your leading receiver. Let's go ahead and improve that a little bit. And by the way, all due respect to Adam Thielen, helped me win a fantasy football championship, but you're kind of getting up there.
The important stuff. All right, guys. I think a couple of surprises.
Shout out to Kelvin Banks' son.
Well, Kelvin Banks was sliding up.
His baby
lately.
Brent, did you see that video?
I didn't see that video. No.
As soon as he gets drafted and they take the shot of him in his house, his newborn baby is yakking everywhere.
Awesome.
As babies do.
That's awesome.
Stuart Weber, get ready.
Yeah, get ready, Stuart. Any moment now, by the way. Legitimately. I think the two surprises, maybe if you wanted to label them as surprises, Colton Loveland, and I know he was getting steam late, but the idea that he went ahead of Ty Warren, who I saw a lot of people had as like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th best player in the draft, and Loveland does advance ahead of him, Chicago takes him. And then the other one is the fact that Williams went ahead of your other dog, Jalen Walker, I thought was a little bit, not out of the realm, but a little bit surprising. I would say those were two of my somewhat surprises.
Yeah, no, I think, I completely agree with you. Brent, let me ask you this before we keep on going on that list a little bit. Say that the Jaguars stayed at number 5 and Cleveland didn't want to play ball. What would the pick have been, or would they have traded back maybe with like Chicago or something?
I don't believe that they would have traded back. Okay. And the reason why I say I don't think they would trade back is because Chicago probably wasn't offering enough to get up to 5 at the end of the day. Because why wouldn't they have tried to do it with Cleveland? I think Mason Graham, unless they just really wanted Mason Graham, if you're Cleveland, why not go back another few spots and maybe he's there? He might have been there. Who knows? The Jets might pick him, whatever. There's a lot that goes into that. So I don't think they would have been able to trade out of 5. I think they were staying at 5. And I think, Austin, the pick would have been Genti.
Yeah. I think so as well. But and I guess I didn't expect Tet to go that high. Because here's what I was thinking last night. I'm like, what would have happened if the Jaguars somehow do trade back with Chicago? They're going to get Tet McMillan. I think Carolina takes Tet McMillan.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now what are we doing? Because you lost Genti, obviously. Chicago took him. You lost Tet McMillan, and now we're just like, man, probably not where you want to be. So, obviously, the hindsight's 2020. Yeah, Brent, I still lean Genti as well, but I still think Tet might have been the play.
Yeah, you don't think Mason Graham was the play for them?
No, I think that we didn't put enough stake. Once again, hindsight being 2020. I think we didn't put enough stake in just how bad it was last year with Ryan Nielsen calling the plays and the scheme and everything of just how bad it was from the coaching standpoint. And I think we maybe underappreciated a little bit, at least I did, in terms of some of the talent that you had maybe wasn't being coached or used the best. So I think if you could put those things into case, I think it would have been Genti or McMillan.
How about you, Hamby?
I think it would have been Genti. I kind of flipped. I just don't think it would have been defensive line.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it would have been Genty. I do, but I'm not. I don't know that. I'll be clear. I don't know that. I didn't even ask that. I don't think they. Maybe they would have told me. Maybe I should have asked. Maybe I'll ask today. I don't think they don't usually like the after the draft stuff. You take with a grain of salt, no matter what, right? So,
Tyler Booker was a little surprising to me, just as far as he was a little high.
Yeah, and there were some. Listen, the reason why some of these guys go higher is because we've seen so many damn mock drafts.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like Gray Zabel. Wow, he went high. Top 20, right? And because we've seen him at the back end of the first or the early. Egbuka, we thought would go in the first round. He ends up going in the first round. And, Jackson Dart, obviously a huge move for the Giants to get back in. Yeah. And that brings us to Shadur Sanders, right? I mean, he obviously slips out.
Did you hear about the Giants, everything that transpired?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so this goes back to our show when they got announced that it's showing, right? Or what's the GM of the Giants?
Yeah, showing.
Showing. So I guess last year there's a video of this because they were following it on for Hard Knocks, right?
Oh yeah. The kid.
The kid.
Yeah.
So the kid last year goes, he wanted Jane Daniels, and then obviously they don't go Jane Daniels. So then this year, in the morning of yesterday, so yesterday morning around 8 or 9 o'clock, the kid puts out Jackson Dart and like the big eye emoji thing
on his Instagram story. I think
I did see that.
Supposedly, but there's some rumors circulating now that during the pre-draft meeting, I guess Schoen was throwing chairs and stuff because he was so pissed off of how everything transpired.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So then on top of that, then his kid he goes on private. So he's not local anymore. So he's private. So you can't see what he's posting because I'm sure his dad was a little upset about it. So took away his Instagram privileges. They don't go with the quarterback with the third pick or whatever. And then they trade back in and get the guy that the kid said they're going to get all along. It's just, hey, if I'm a Giants fan, I get it. You got a quarterback. Congratulations. You got a great edge rusher. Congratulations. If I'm a Giants fan, though, I'm celebrating how the draft, I guess, went because you got two big pieces. But I'm also what the hell are we doing here, guys?
Yeah. It's been an odd couple of years for showing and maybe leave the family out of the room.
I wonder if they had an inkling that the Browns might trade back in. Because you look at everybody who picked after them, Falcons, Ravens, you go down the list, none of those teams are even an option to take quarterback. So if they didn't need to jump any of those teams to take Jackson Dart, that means they were worried about somebody else trading in. Who could have that been? I don't think it would have been the Steelers who just took 3 or 4 picks ahead of that. So was it, or were they concerned about the Browns using that one of those second round picks that they just acquired and trading back in, and they thought they had to beat them to it?
Yeah, maybe. I like Jackson Dart, by the way. And what do you think of the whole Shadur Sanders stuff, guys? I mean, where are we? It's obviously a huge headline. The Dion, Shadur. I think it's interesting because it feels now like it used to feel like Dion, Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, right? It's this whole package. And I really feel like even before yesterday in the Jags picking him, I feel like that's separated, right? I feel like Hunter has kind of separated himself from the package. Not to say he doesn't like, none of that. I'm not trying to insinuate anything. I'm just saying I don't view it as the trio. And that's probably the way we shouldn't view it, right? We shouldn't view it as a trio. But the whole Sanders thing is obviously going to be an underbelly of this draft. And where does he go? How quick does he go off the board tonight, Austin?
Man, it's a great question. And just to think too, once again, and hindsight being 2020 and everything, but if Cleveland doesn't trade Hunter, they can get Hunter and Sanders. That. I mean, do you want to talk about jersey sales? You want to talk about turning a regime around? Think about the most electric college football player in college football going to your team, and then probably the most polarizing college football player both coming to your team. You want to talk about making a team cool again? They could have did that, but it's all good,
that's
man.
Wild.
Mason No, for sure. But hey, it's all good, Mason Graham. You know, the Sanders thing is really wild to me because you see Mel Kiper and like once again, but you didn't really watch it last night, but Mel Kiper was in shambles. Mel Kiper, as my son would refer to it as, was crashing out last night in terms of Sanders falling so much. Like he couldn't believe it. And I'll be honest, you know, we did our bets yesterday, and one of my bets was, you know, Shadur Sanders going to the top 10. Like I thought it was all smokescreen. I thought a team was going to fall in love with him and spend a first round pick on him. And man, I guess I was wrong, and a lot of people were wrong because that's not going to happen. I'm not sure if you check the odds today, but this is a crazy one. Jalen Milroe, who I thought was going to the Steelers, still might go to the Steelers, but I'm not confident as much anymore. If you look at the favorite spot, at least this is on Bovada I saw this morning, of Jalen Milroe going the favorite spot, it's the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, interesting.
Where if you take Jalen Milroe over Shadur Sanders, man, then there's something that they're not telling us. Honestly, like, yeah, you can sit here and say that the meetings were bad and he's cocky. We heard Kyler Murray's meetings were horrible and he still went number 1 overall. Yeah. So you remember that, Brent?
Yeah, we did.
So so I don't know if it's just Dion. I don't know if there's something they're not telling us, but I didn't see, Sanders falling this far. I really didn't, especially at the most important position.
Well, I think it's a little bit of Dion, and not Dion in terms of being negative, don't touch him. I think it's Dion, the inflation of Dion and the whole Colorado thing. I think the evaluation of Sanders as an actual quarterback just isn't as high as the brand. And that doesn't marry in today's world, right? The brand of Sanders is so big, the topic, the headline, the conversation point. Well, what the NFL people are saying, we don't give a damn about what you're talking about. We need to go find a quarterback that's going to make a difference and going to be good in the league, and we don't have a first-round grade on him.
That's a good point, man.
I think it's a really odd deal because of how big the draft is, how big the draft buildup is, how big the Sanders name is, how big Dion has been and Colorado and Shadur Sanders has been, to the point where it's like you overinflated the stock just because of the attention, and the NFL in their bubble inside the walls are just like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but like he was always a second-round pick or whatever he ends up being. Pretty wild.
Well, no, it's really wild, man. And, but at the same time, do I really feel bad about it? Because it's almost self-inflicted. Like, look at what Shadur Sanders is doing last night. Like, he had his own draft room. I'm in the middle of central Wisconsin and Iowa talking to my friend Andrew saying, dude, you got to stop drinking so much because if the cameras come over, I can't have you in the background acting a fool. And I barely have space on my own couch to sit down in my own mom's house because there's some people over there. And Shadur Sanders has his own draft booth setup thing. So
he put on a concert. He put on a concert for everybody yesterday.
I didn't see that.
So, yeah. It's a great point, Brent. Oh, go ahead.
I just wonder, Austin, will teams who are a little sketchy on his talent to begin with even look at last night and be like, is that a red flag to them? Or is that just the draft now because of the brand and everybody's wearing shiny shoes and different stuff and putting on a party, but that was a different kind of party, you know what I mean?
No, listen, and I was just going to echo that as well. We always say, does the talent outweigh the distraction? And maybe we think Shadur Sanders was so good because we saw him on every single ESPN game, because we saw him on every single highlight, because we've seen him in commercials and everything. And I'm reminded of the video of when Nebraska played Colorado. You had pot roast on the sidelines after Nebraska won, and it's a meme, but you see pot roast going like this. People love to hate Shadur Sanders. So then when you ask the question, does the talent outweigh the distraction? Well, dude's throwing a Coachella by himself last night during the draft party. Probably not the best look. You know what I'm saying? And once again, more power to you. And this is old, get off my lawn, Austin talking right now, and I understand it. Good. But guess what? There's a lot of more old, get off my lawn guys in the NFL than you think there is.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So-
No doubt about it. All right, hey, one last one real quick. James Pierce Jr., this is like a head scratcher, right? For the Falcons 2 years in a row.
Man, the memes about them taking a quarterback.
And they gave up like a first rounder? Is
They
that
gave
what
up
they
a
did?
haul.
They gave up a bunch to come back and get James Pierce, who I know you had in your top 5. Like, you like him, but didn't he come with some red flags too? Also, like, it seems like a risky move. And nobody was clamoring. They obviously felt like somebody was going to take him.
Yeah, I guess so, but had to sacrifice a little bit to get him. And listen, shout out to the Atlanta Falcons, who have now kind of turned into like the new Houston Texans Twitter of the old Brent. You want to talk about some solid gold from Falcons Twitter, man? Because I always feel like, it's Atlanta, right? There's a little swag there. There's, it's a pretty solid fan base. And seeing their reactions last night was priceless.
Yeah, that's wild. So that's the first round. We'll see what happens in round number 2. But some surprises in there. And again, it just shows us the NFL doesn't think like the rest of the mock drafters all the time. Although I would say this, there was pretty good consensus on most of the top 10. So that was real. And most of the top 10 pretty much went in the order that people would say. Hamby, what you got for us?
2 quick things. Yes, when we talk about our in-division rivals, 14, just a little bit more on Tyler Warren. They continue to go tight end. So, the Jags kryptonite will most likely live on all the way going back to Clark, to Jacob Tammy days, to Mo Alley Cox at times. Now they got another guy. And then speaking of the Giants, we touched on them, but not what the Texans got relative to what the Falcons traded with the pick behind them. The Texans did not get near as much. They got some nice picks, but they don't have a first rounder. I believe they're the only team. Who did the Falcons trade with at 26?
I forget.
Regardless, they're one of 2 teams.
Minnesota, maybe?
Yes. Okay, yeah. So they're one of 2 teams who didn't have a first rounder, and they didn't get a first rounder next year. So they just kind of moved back to like 45, I believe.
And I think they're picking 34th as well. I think they might have got the 34th.
Okay.
That's what they got, I think.
But they didn't get near as much as what the Falcons gave up for the pick behind them.
Yeah.
Value-wise, they lost that trade. It's just interesting to see that, hey, our biggest rival in the division didn't take a first rounder, so that's a little bit less to be afraid of, at least immediately.
All right, we'll see what happens in the division. It's a good point about the division and what happens with Tennessee, obviously getting that number 1 pick, and not a lot of hype around it, National Football League wise. And Tyler Warren, I think, is a good player. We'll see how much he can impact their football team and Anthony Richardson in their offense, or whoever the quarterback is, Daniel Jones, and then the Texans don't even have a splash. But they've got plenty of talent. They are the team to beat in the AFC South. Take a time out. Guess what? Travis Hunter has landed. Guys, what kind of doll is he holding coming out of the plane?
I haven't seen this yet. What we got here?
Courtesy of the Jags, by the way. Jaguars just pushed this out.
What is that?
Yeah, what is that? Is that like what's that like a? Is that like a pillow pet?
Ronan, come here. Pause it, Hammy. Let me see if my son knows what this is. What's this doll right here? You know?
What is that?
Okay, Brent, we have no idea.
What is that pillow pet that Travis Hunter has? I can't wait to get the answer on that one. A little bit later, he'll talk at 2 o'clock. We'll carry it live on TV on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We'll be right back.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I'm ready to show my hand, ready to take a stand. Wait on a sign above, and I am ready, ready. 'Cause I just live for the game. 'Cause I just live for the game. 'Cause I just live for the game. The crown's for the tape. I got it. Iconic. I'm built to win. Back to back, I do it again. I'm iconic. I'm one of a kind. I'm iconic.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School. Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School. Tony Mazzio, Sandalwood High School, class of 2002. Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School. Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker's Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Travis Hunter, number 12. I guess they had to make room for him, right? And get rid of, what's his name? Punt return guy?
Oh, Duvernay?
Evan Duvernay.
I
12's
got
open.
Brent. Nice, man.
Sorry.
12's open.
12 is
No,
open.
you're good, you're good.
12's a pretty unique number, right?
It is a little unique. It's got some swag to it. Can I just say this one thing? Because I've been sitting here just marinating on this since we went to break, Brent. Is there any other guy where, and Hamby, feel free to put it up one more time, with we don't know what he was carrying in his hands off the airplane, right? And I'll be honest, I don't care, because this is the power of Travis Hunter. If this would have been Mason Graham carrying a stuffed animal, Brent, if I would have been in Jacksonville, I would have rushed to the stadium and been like, nope, do over. You ain't coming here.
Get back on the plane.
But yeah, get back on the plane. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Travis Hunter does it. I'm like, man, I still got my spot dog at my mom's house that, I could break out and start rocking him, and carry him on the airplane as well. Like, it's funny how with Travis Hunter, I'm like, okay, that's cool, man, whatever. Any other player carries that. Mason Graham carried that. Ashton Genty carried it. Although, if you're going to carry it, Ashton, high and tight, please. But any other player, I would have been like, okay. But Travis Hunter, I'm like, cool.
This courtesy of the Jags, and I already know where this is going, man. This is going to be the talk of the afternoon. There's no doubt. This is going to be the talk of the afternoon. Hey, be who you are. Did we vet this out in the process?
He's elevating the ecosystem as he walks in.
The olds right now are losing their minds, ladies.
Oh, yeah. They are.
What are those things called? Chia pets?
Well, I always call them, like, if you're taking something on a plane, like the kids would have a while ago, not now, I didn't think. A pillow pet.
Pillow pet
is what I call it. But it might be a stuffy. That's fine, yeah.
Stuffed animal, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. What is it, Austin?
Stuffy?
No. Stuffed what?
Animal?
Okay, no problem.
Does that sound funny to you? Animal?
I think he hit an aminal at least 3 times.
Aminal? Yeah, probably.
That's how my kids used to say animal. Aminal. Hey, Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Austin out in Oregon. Let's remind people you're out there. And we had Ronan on just a short time ago trying to get to the bottom of that pillow pet. But fired up, man. You got Oregon tomorrow. We got Oregon spring game tomorrow. Baseball tonight. Man, he must be so excited.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Hamby, do you have the video? I sent it to you.
I'll have it in just a second.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, but yeah, but yeah, to really set the scene real quick. So my son, as if you've heard the show before with him on it, he is a diehard Oregon fan. I don't get it. I think the whole jersey color combination scheme got to him a little bit. Pretty cool mascot who comes out on a motorcycle with Lee Corso every once in a while. Like, and not to mention they're kind of a front runner, right? They're a pretty good team. So that had all the makings to be my son's favorite team. And now he's a giant Bo Nix fan and a Broncos fan as well. So he's a giant Oregon Ducks fan. I'm going to probably have a fight coming up here eventually. We'll have to go to fight camp in the next couple weeks or so. So, Dad's going to have to go out of town for a little bit. I'll be back and forth, but this was kind of like, this was his birthday gift a little bit that me and my mom kind of pitched in to help him celebrate. And he had no idea this was happening until yesterday. I got him from school with his suitcase and a jersey and said, all right, man, let's do this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he had no idea. And I also got him like super early from school. So already he's like,
all right, I got it.
He was already pumped.
Okay, yeah. So he's already pretty pumped about it.
So here's the reaction from Ronan when he finds out he's going.
To the airport.
Oh, where are we going?
We're going to Oregon. We're going to watch the spring game.
No way.
Yeah, so me and Grandma, as part of your birthday gift, and Graham's helped out. We're going to Oregon. We're going to Eugene for the weekend, and we're gonna watch the Ducks in the spring game, and we're gonna go to the baseball game as well. You okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So,
that's great stuff.
Obviously, I got his permission to share the video.
You gotta get it. Hey, listen, I can tell you this. I've been sharing kids' videos for a long time. From Christmas to other things. I don't ask for permission.
But listen, I had to edit a little bit out because my old school demeanor of, staying with my grandparents for a long time came out at the end a little bit because I go, wait, are you crying right now? What are you crying for, dude? That's because he was so excited. He didn't know how to control himself. I'm like, well, dude, you don't gotta cry. You know what I'm saying? But so I gotta cut that part out a little bit. But
that's awesome. Man, I almost just got a tear in my eye. I love it.
Oh yeah.
See, Hamby doesn't get it. Hamby doesn't get it because he doesn't have kids. He's like, Brent, what do you think you're gonna cry? No, it's like, hey, that's great stuff. See, that's a great memory. Have forever. Yeah. I like the video element of that, by the way. He'll have forever. Yeah. Those are important things, man. You gotta. I always would say this. And this kind of sounds like really. All right, I'll try not to make it morbid,
Uh-oh.
But it's just like, well, I mean, you just, like, you look up, maybe it's 20 years from now, 25 years from now, 50 years from now, whatever. It's like, okay, where are those moments that you think about right now, with whether it's your mom or dad or people that are close to you? And it's like, those are cool moments. Like, and this will be one, like, he'll never forget. Like, that'd be really cool. And I'll still give you an example of this, Austen. The first time we ever went to Disney World, my mom and dad got the three of us out of school, my sisters and I. I was in 5th grade, so my older sister would have been like 8th grade, my younger in 2nd grade. And it was very similar. We're driving to the airport, and they said, hey, we're going to the airport. We're going to Disney. And it was like that was a real special thing for them to have, right? They were like wanted to surprise us. Now, there's no video of it, and thankfully there's not, because I immediately started almost like crying. Not because of joy, but because of fear. I was like, I don't want to fly. It was my first time flying, and I'm like, I don't like roller coasters or anything else, so I thought it would just be like that kind of roller coaster feeling on a flight. So I was like, I don't want to go. That was my reaction.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's awesome. No, like we're definitely sharing a brain here, Brent. Because like, listen, you know, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but you know, I am in the whole co-parenting game, right? So I get to see him Thursday through Sunday, and that's the time I get to spend with my son. Obviously, I talk to him every single day, probably to the point where he gets sick and tired of it, but I don't care. You got to deal with it. It is what it is. Dad has to talk to you, but I feel like kids, and like I remember when I was growing up, man, right? I was growing up in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. I had my grandparents, I had my mom, and like they were my best friends for a long time. And then eventually, you know, like you get to grade school, you get to middle school and everything, you get to high school, and then it's like, you know, all of a sudden you're kind of too cool for them, and you kind of branch out and do your own thing. And I feel like kids these days, and I think any parent with a younger child can relate to this a little bit. And Hamby, one day maybe you're gonna realize this. Kids today are so much more mature and so much more self-aware than when I was growing up, right? So like maybe a part of me just wants to keep on fighting and wants to keep on doing that whole thing just so I can say like, hey, your dad's still pretty cool, like keep rolling with your dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at me, we're doing interviews, we're on TV, like, you know, I'm still the cool guy, but I'm also a realist, right? And I know that one day is gonna come where it's gonna be like, Dad, I love you, but like, you know, you aren't the coolest person anymore, and I can accept that.
That's true.
And I can definitely accept that. But until that time, Brent, you know, I'm gonna try to maximize the time that we get together. I'm gonna maximize the time of me being the cool dad, if you will, and we're gonna try to go on as many cool adventures as possible, because it's like you said, man, it's about the memories. Like I can buy you a gift and that gift will be around for a while, and eventually it could be outdated, eventually it can get lost, eventually that gift can go away. But what's going to last forever are those moments, are those memories that you can provide somebody. So that's what I'm doing this weekend, man, and I couldn't be more pumped for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And by the way, it's great stuff. Like it's a great way to look at it. It's a great memory to have, and I'm still paying for the memory from last year, like going on a trip. So I like.
No, you're not.
Oh no, I am. Like that trip, we went to baseball park. I'm still paying it, just to let you know. So like, I was like, money be damned, I guess, on that trip. But hey, that's real. That is a real life story, Hamby. You will experience. You'll come back. Here's the deal. I already know this. And someday, Austen and I are going to do a wedding / like fatherhood show now. See, for you,
like it,
just so we can let the younger generation. We got Stuart, we got you, all the folks that are going to go through some of this stuff. And Hamby, right? He's going to come back to us in like a decade and be like, "Hey, remember that time?" Like we were talking about Ronan going to Oregon. And he was like, "Yeah, whatever. Why are you almost in tears?" He's going to be like, I get it. He's going to be, I get it.
You're going to get it. Yep. Yeah. You're absolutely going to get it one day.
And just to give you an update, when they get 20, here's yesterday's conversation with Ty and big Jags fan and sports fan. And I might have let him know at like the same time I let like maybe snuck out there like, hey, just checking here. But I'm hearing might be a little bit of a slide up to get Travis Hunter. This was like 3 whatever or 4 whatever, I don't know what time. And he's like, how much are we giving up? I was like, I have no idea. And then at 7:54, he says, "Any update?" And I said, "Yeah, the draft starts in 6 minutes." That's funny. So,
Brent, did Liv Tasley share my? Because I shared her a screenshot of a text from a different person that was talking about Travis Hunter. But did she share that or not with you?
She didn't. I didn't. I don't think I saw that.
Yeah. So because keep in mind like what I'm going through. So like we're super delayed, right? Like I already don't really fit in a plane seat, so I'm not in the best mood. So like this person reaches out and they're like, hey dude, like word on the street is that, and I can't repeat it verbatim because there's some language, but word on the street is that Jaguars getting Travis Hunter, and they're gonna give up so and so, and then he ends it with that bleep is crazy. And I'm just like, hey man, yeah, like you aren't the first, like, and once again, I didn't ask for any of this, right? Like, I'm just trying to chill. So like I get this text message and I go, yeah, that bleep is crazy. Speaking of crazy, have you watched the last episode of The Last of Us? Because it was crazy. And then the person that was texting me, they go, man, that's why I messed with you, because you don't even care. And then he called me. Why are you like the Joker of like NFL media, where you just like hear things but you don't really do anything about it? I'm like, yeah, because I'm in a plane, man. What do you want me to do? You want me to put it out there on Twitter? Like, leave me alone right now. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane out in Oregon. Jason Hamby, the latest picture, Mike Silver. By the way, Mike Silver writes for The Athletic now. This is courtesy of Mike Silver. I want to make sure I courtesy everybody. We're stealing this stuff from the Jags to Mike Silver. This is Travis Hunter meeting with the Jags brass right now. I still think it's pretty wild that you go from, you haven't talked to these guys since February, and now like boom, you're here, and now it's like, okay, game on, I guess, right? Like Austen, you did this, and I know you maybe talked to the Jags more than since the combine and your process because you had a visit and stuff. But like, do you remember like the first time you arrived at the stadium when you got drafted? Like it probably would have been I don't know when you guys would, you get picked on like a Saturday, so I don't know if that's a Sunday, Monday type thing, or even a couple of days later, but do you remember that like first, hello, how do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember it because, so here's the thing, like, this is the difference between like.
How did I know this was not going to be serious?
What, with me? Well, dude, because it wasn't serious. It wasn't like we got like the red carpet treatment. It's like, here's the building, go have fun. Like, I mean,
Shad Khan's back in Shad Khan. Well, actually, this was 2010, it was Weaver.
So even yeah. So here, go ahead and have a hot plate, and welcome to Jacksonville, and here's your extended stay. Like, we didn't get anything.
That's awesome.
Freaking hot plate.
Yeah, go ahead and have a hot plate, go ahead and go on the extended stay, and we're just chilling. Like, it wasn't anything like, oh, here's the media, and like, here's some lobster bisque. Nah, man. Like, I literally went in the stadium. I'm like, okay, it's like the first day of school. And I'm not going to lie, when I got in there, I'm thinking like I'm getting the Travis Hunter treatment, right? Like, I'm walking tall, I got like a cool shirt on. I'm like, all right, man, like here it comes. And I'm like, oh no, nobody really gives a crap about Austen Lane from Murray State.
Yeah, it's kind of there is a fall off after that first round pick, especially. Right?
Tell me, do you think Brent Martineau and Stuart Weber were there to interview me? No, man. Like, we're gonna get you from the sound bites in the press conference. We don't need you to do anything special.
Yeah, it is. Good. It's a little bit different dance. It's funny how like glorified that first pick is, really, in the NFL. Hey, what do we have, Hamby? You want to get to a little bit of the sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get to. We might not play the whole thing. Is there a part you want to pick up on? Or you want to go from the jump? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll have to skip forward to it just a second, though.
Okay, find that spot. When you do that, we have so many questions about this. Not questions in terms of a bad way, about the Jags pick, but we had a lot of different topics and way to do this today. And just to reiterate, you can find it on the podcast anywhere you look or listen to the podcast, it'll be up at 1:30. And if you missed any of the show today, we've got day 2 of the draft coverage coming up, 2 o'clock introductory news conference. He's in the building, Travis Hunter, not our building, their building. And we'll carry that live on TV. And then we have coverage all night. I'll be live at the stadium and Jags headquarters throughout the night. But we asked, will he alter the sport? What makes him so special? Talked a lot about Travis. Was it worth it? Right? We did that. Where are the Jags going from here? We already talked about how much better do you feel today about Travis Hunter than you would have if it was Genty? And I think that's interesting, Austen, right? Because I think we would have been excited about Genty. But this was the only guy you were going to get this level of excitement about.
Yeah, I mean, we would have been excited for Genty just because, once again, you're talking about one of the most productive players, and it's going to have a direct correlation on the field. He's scoring touchdowns, right? So you're excited for that. But I think the excitement for Travis Hunter is just so much more astronomical because, once again, in the last couple of weeks, I didn't even foresee it happening, right? So, like, not only are you getting the player that is, like, you know, probably the best guy in the draft in terms of productivity and just what he can do, but you're getting a guy where you had no idea it was going to happen in the first place. So, like, that adds another just exciting element to it, Brent. So, yeah, Genty would have been great, but Travis Hunter's in a league by himself.
Let's listen to some of Travis Hunter from last night. And again, we're going to get a lot more Travis Hunter today. But here's what Travis Hunter had to say last night when he met with the media in Green Bay.
Whatever it takes to get to your goal, and once you get there, then you can have fun. What I have to do is just, learn from my coaches, learn from the players that have done it in front of me, and, just get better at my craft. Nah, like I said earlier, I don't even have my phones. I don't even know where they at. I just did my best, Duval, back there, but I got you. Duval!
Good echo.
I can't hear you. Oh, yeah, I'm super excited. I got my passport, so we ain't got to go through that.
You got some faces, man.
They were asking about London? Oh, maybe there was a London group there.
All of them. What did it mean? It means a lot, that they gave up so much. So I know they believe in me. So I just got to go out there and make sure that what they put in and the time that they thought about this, I make sure they was right. Fishing. No, I'm playing, but yeah, it is fishing too. But playing football for the fans and fishing, and also, just having that soul food, some collard greens. I don't eat out, so I couldn't even tell you. But like I said, soul food. So like my fiance will probably cook, my grandma will probably cook, and my mom. All right, you good. My bad. I was hoping that was Shadur. I don't have no system, but I'm just super excited. I see Brian Thompson going crazy all the time, and that's one of my receivers that I used to watch last year, just to see him go out there and just dominate every game and just go out there and do his thing. So I'm super excited to go learn from the coaching staff, and learn from him. Playing 7-on-7, you're just always out there working. So, you understand the game. You ain't got pads on, so you can actually see the defense. You can understand how to get open. And 7-on-7 helped me out a lot. And I played for Cam Newton, and he played in the NFL, so that was kind of cheap for me.
He controls the room, doesn't he?
I want some collard greens, some rice.
Cornbread.
If it's yellow rice, white rice, mac and cheese, cornbread. some chicken wings too. Chicken wings. But then I gotta have a red velvet piece of cake or some cookies and some vanilla ice cream. My bad. What's the message? Let's get to work.
I better have a lot of questions today. Short answers.
Shoot.
What's the message? I kind of already gave her the message by walking across the stage, so she kind of see me, doing my thing and what I told her I would do. That's be one of the best players to come out.
He doesn't eat out.
That mean a lot. That let me know that the Jacksonville organization, believe in me and they're gonna let me do my thing.
All right, there you go. That's Travis Hunter. Yeah, it's going to be fun. He looks so relaxed, He looks so relaxed on the stage. The stage doesn't get him. Heisman Trophy winner, Walter Camp Award, AP College Football Player of the Year, Chuck Bednarik Award, Fred Biletnikoff Award, Paul Hornung Award. Austin, just to put a bow on this, one of the reasons why I like this pick so much is that he's been a star since, you almost could say he was a teenager. And he's delivered. And on top of that, he's changed places. He changed Jackson State. He changed Colorado. Can he change the Jacksonville Jaguars?
No, without a doubt, man. And I can't state this enough. I believe he can, Brent. Obviously, we've seen it on the field in the highlight films, and now we're seeing it in press conferences of how he carries himself. And I'm just going to echo of what I kind of said to start the show off today, what makes Travis Hunter so special. This dude knows who he is. And, it's funny because we just talked about Shadur Sanders and how, he's falling down the stock a little bit because we'll look at how he's acting and everything. This is what Deion's done. And it's kind of ironic because it's going in two different directions. I think he's polarizing, like him or hate him, but I think Deion preaches being yourself, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, he preaches being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter, from when he got on campus to now, has always been himself. Same thing with Shadur Sanders, right? Now, one guy's falling, one guy went number 2 overall. But my point with Travis Hunter is you see him relax in those press conferences. And we can sit here and say, well, come on, it's a new generation. These kids grew up in front of, cell phones and YouTube and everything. They know how to act. Not like that. Not when you just got drafted as number 2 overall, just made yourself a lot more money, just, a team traded up for you. There's some pressure that comes with that. There's a lot. There's expectation that comes with that. And you look at how he carried himself in that press conference, Brent. That's a guy through and through who knows exactly who he is, whether he's got a fluffy off the plane, he's carrying a stuffed animal, whatever the case may be, a pillow pet. This guy knows exactly who he is. And you know what? That's a great start.
That's intangibly rich, baby. Hey, man, have a great time with Ronan tonight. The baseball game's going to be awesome, and then the football game tomorrow in Oregon. Can't wait to hear about it when you come back next week. So have a great weekend. Thanks for getting up early with us.
No, I appreciate it, man. And one last thing. Whether you love the Travis Hunter pick or whether, you're questioning it, let's just embrace the fact that the Jaguars did something that they haven't really done before. It's exciting. It's new. Listen, the season's a long ways away. Let's live in the moment right now and just celebrate hey, this feels a little different. This feels exciting, and let's live in that.
Couldn't agree more, man. Have a great weekend. That's Austen Lane. Thanks to Jason Hamby Hamby worked basically around the clock the last 24 hours with a nap in between for a couple of them. So I appreciate him on TV and right here, our entire team on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. And we're not done. Heading down to the stadium right now. Again, 2 o'clock introductory news conference, Travis Hunter, and you can see that live on TV. CBS 47 and Fox 30 will carry it. And then I'll have coverage throughout the night, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:50, 11:15 tonight. We'll do a 15-minute special to wrap day 2 and the Travis Hunter part of the story as we go down and talk to him in just a couple moments. BTJ, Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, dynamic offense here in Jacksonville. We sure hope so. Enjoy the day, everybody. Have a great weekend. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. Action Sports Jacks is the biggest brand in Jacksonville, and we're excited to add another partnership for this team's biggest season yet. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is now the official streaming network of the Jacksonville Sharks for their 15th season.
The Jacksonville Sharks are your champions.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants.
We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter.
Right now, you can get